Welcome, everybody, to another rendition of Delete Laws. What's going on out there in the land of America? If everybody would please hit the like button. Hit the like button real quick. We're going to jump into this. Guy's name is Deorba Redden. This guy, we're going to talk about him in pretty great detail. Do me a favor, pop down in the comment section if you would, please. Alfred Duff has already done it. OTVO, overturn Terry versus Ohio. Put it in the comment section, everybody. Just pop it in there for me. It'll just take you 2 seconds. Terry versus Ohio. If you're new to the channel and you didn't know, Terry versus Ohio is the most destructive, anti-freedom, unconstitutional, created by the black robe tyrants nonsense that Americans have to deal with today. Terry versus Ohio is the linchpin for dozens and dozens of policies created by the Supreme Court that have ruined this country. So OTVO stands for Overturn Terry versus Ohio. Hit that like button. I'm going to get into the nuts and bolts here, and then I'm going to stop it, and we're going to talk about it.
We are heading now to Las Vegas, where the man who assaulted a judge made another court appearance this morning, this time answering for that attack. You've seen the video. It went viral last week, showing Deorba Redden vaulting over the bench of Judge Mary Kay Holthus and then attacking her while she was sentencing him. It took several people to subdue the flying felon, and he's now facing 15 new charges. But before we bring in our guest, let's listen back.
One of those charges he's facing, and don't get me wrong, you guys know I have denounced this. I have said I don't agree with this. You guys know that. I don't agree with a lawless society. I've denounced this. Is that attempted murder? Put a 1 in the chat if that is not attempted murder. Is it assault? Is it battery? You bet your butt it is. 100%. Attempted murder?
And he's now facing 15 new charges. But before we bring in our guest, let's listen back to some of that hearing that got underway earlier today.
So now you're going to hear some nonsense here. The system of government, remember, how many times have we seen the cops charge people with assault when they didn't assault a cop? And now we saw a guy on camera assault and batter a judge, and he should be charged accordingly. Attacking someone is not attempted murder. It's just not.
Hello, are you Mr. Redden?
Yes, I am.
Hello. Okay, I have a few housekeeping matters to handle before we handle his case in anticipation of me appointing the public defender to represent him. There are multiple media requests. There were multiple orders that were signed in initial appearance court. I have amended several media orders to not allow live streaming because I do not allow live streaming. So to the extent
listen to this tyrant. Listen to this tyrant. There can be no transparency. Big shout out to our Nevada judges. Big shout out to the channel, our Nevada judges, getting the camera in the courtroom.
Live streaming order initial appearance court. I have amended several media orders.
She's amended several media orders
to
limit transparency.
Not allow live streaming.
To not allow live streaming. They're going to bury this guy under the jail and say he attempted to kill someone when he definitely assaulted and battered, but he did not attempt murder.
Because I do not allow live streaming.
Oh, why are we at the mercy of this judge saying I do not allow live streaming? Why do we get to lack transparency? Why can't we see and hear exactly what's happening with the government, especially when you're supposed to get a free and a fair and speedy trial? Fair means that other people can look at it who are laypersons and put their idea of whether or not you deserve to be charged with attempted murder.
streaming. So to the extent initial appearance court allowed live streaming, I have amended all of those orders to remove that. I have followed
That one right there. You heard what she just said? I have amended all of those orders to remove that. There will be no live streaming. Court TV is in there. How come Court TV is in there?
all of those orders to remove that.
To remove live streaming. You're looking at Tyrant right in her face. You're looking at a tyrant right there.
I have followed
Oh, she's wearing a blue robe. They wear blue robes, I guess, here.
amended orders yesterday. There are some new orders that I need to rule on, one from KLAS, one from Univision, one from Associated Press, and
So these are mainstream Lion state-run media networks that have requested to be able to film.
one from Fox 5. Does the state have any opposition to these media requests?
You're almost to the
Does the defense?
I'll submit it to the court.
Okay, I'm gonna
I'm sorry, what did they say?
these media requests.
You're almost to the
Does the defense?
I'll submit it to the court.
Okay, I'm gonna sign.
I'll submit what? I'm not sorry. I couldn't understand what they said, but do either one of them have a problem with banning the media, and then that their answers were indiscriminate? I couldn't understand what they said.
I'm gonna approve these media requests. They are not.
Wait, I'm going to approve these media requests, but not those ones. My God, government. Oh my God.
Does the defense?
I'll submit it to the court.
Okay, I'm gonna sign and approve these media requests. They are not for live streaming, and they are only for any sort of media that the media requested.
It's only for any kind of media that the media requested. What do you mean you can't live stream it? We don't get to see? Why would you want to hide what's happening?
All right, as for disclosures, before I arraign Mr. Redden, I want to disclose under judicial canon 2.
Why does he have to have a mask on? He didn't spit at her, did he? Why does he have to be treated like, I'm not saying he's not a felon. I'm not taking his part. You've never heard me ever say to attack anybody, ever. I've said never attack anybody. Unless you're being attacked and you have to defend yourself. But look at this. They have him all masked up, and did he spit at somebody?
0.11, comment 5, that I do know Judge Mary Kay Holthus. I know her very casually and only professionally. I've never socialized with her outside, say, a professional event. I do, for instance, not know her phone number. I don't think she knows mine. We're not connected on social media.
Well, I'm totally non-biased. I'm a judge in the same building. We're both women. We've both come through the ranks, and now we're both here at the same place. I empathize with her completely, but don't worry. I don't have any bias.
I've never worked at the district attorney's office, where I believe she worked for her entire career. Her daughter is a deputy district attorney on my track. However, the team chief.
Her daughter's a deputy district attorney on my track. So she sees her daughter all the time. Listen, she just said it.
Her daughter is a deputy district attorney on my track.
Then she has bias. I mean, how many of you see your friends' kids? How many of you see your friends' children or your coworkers' children day in and day out, week in and week out, and don't have some sort of affinity for that person because it's your so-and-so's daughter, it's your so-and-so's son? You then have created a familial bond and relationship. Remember, we talked about relationships, how you're always in a ship with somebody. As soon as you start communicating, you and I are in a relationship. Everybody's in a relationship. This woman said that she sees this judge's daughter week in and week out. Put a 1 in the chat if that has bias attached to it.
However, the team chief has assured me that Kennedy Holthus will not appear on any of Mr. Redden's appearances. Therefore, I see no reason to recuse. However,
Of course you don't, honey. Of course you don't. And look at the Vegas Knights promotion. How much is that worth? I mean, it just makes me sick. There's no limit to what these people believe. I mean, she works with the woman's daughter week in and week out for I don't know how many years. She sees no reason to recuse herself. I do. You work with her daughter week in and week out. I see a very good reason to recuse yourself. 100%.
I make those disclosures under Rule 2.11, Comment 5. Mr. Redden, have you been given a copy of the criminal complaint this morning?
Yes, I have been given one.
You're being charged with count 1, attempt murder, victim 60 years of age or older, a felony.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap.
You're being charged with count 1, attempt murder, victim 60 years of age or older, a felony.
Just ridiculous. Just absolutely, completely, and utterly preposterous.
Mr. Redden, have you been given a copy of the criminal complaint this morning?
Yes, I have been given one.
You're being charged with count 1, attempt murder, victim 60 years of age or older, a felony. Count 2, battery on a protected person resulting in substantial bodily harm, victim 60 years of age or older, a felony. Count 3, extortion by threat, a felony.
Okay, whoa, hold on a second. Let's take a break here. So, number 1, he's being charged with attempted murder. Put a 1 in the chat if that's some cap bull Skavisky. Put a 1 in the chat if that's the biggest load of shit. He did attack her. He did batter her. I'm all for it. Charge him. He needs to be charged fairly. And then we all need to see his court trial. This woman, the judge, says, I work with the other judge's daughter week in and week out, but I don't see a conflict of interest. Right away, we're starting with the bullshit. I see a huge conflict of interest if you work with someone's daughter week in and week out. And they just slid right by it. And then he's being charged, new charge of extortion.
Of age or older, a felony. Count 3, extortion by threat, a felony.
Extortion by threat? So a bunch of judges sat around, DAs sat around and said, well, what could we charge him with? You know, I mean, let's really throw him under the jail. You know, him attacking a government agent, him attacking a state-run judge. We have to throw him under the jail.
Count 4.
We have to throw him under the jail and show everybody that if you attack the state, you will be charged with things you didn't do. He did attack her. He did assault her. He did batter her. He did menace her. What else you got? Assault and battery, menacing, tampering with a witness, a judge, a charge like that, maybe trying to interfere in a official legal matter, interference. Attempted murder? Attempted murder? Like, are we all gonna sit silently? Are you gonna sit silently as they charge someone again that we can see on camera? He definitely attacked her. Attempted murder? I think we're losing ourselves a bit here.
Intimidating a public officer, a felony. Count 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 are all battery on an officer, the same name victim. Oh, and by the way, I do not know any of the other victims named in the criminal complaint.
Oh, it's just, I mean, we're just going on and on about how we're not all connected. I don't know any of these people. I'm not biased. I work with the judge's daughter week in and week out. There's never any nuance between us. Like, how's your mother? She's doing well. She wanted me to tell you hello. Oh, good. I'm glad she's doing well over there. There was none of that ever. You never said to the other judge's daughter, you're telling me you never said, how's your mother? If you never said to your colleague that you work with and you see in the back in the chambers, because we only see them with the robe and the distance. They're at the desk. They're here. No. The prosecutors go right back there to the judge's chambers, sit down, have a brandy, smoke a cigar, do what they do. You're telling me she never asked her how her mother was Or they never passed a note. Oh, my mother said to tell you this. Never. They have no connection. I don't believe that for 2 seconds flat. And listen to this. How many assault charges can you give for the same assault? Listen to this.
60 years of age or older, a felony. Count 3, extortion by threat.
Okay, extortion by threat. The next one is a
felony. Count 4, intimidating a public officer.
Intimidating a public officer. I understand that.
A felony. Count 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. 5 more charges. 5 more charges. Of assault. I'm so sorry. I watched the guards beating on him. I'd watch it again, but they already demonetized the last video. So I saw the guards punching him. I saw him trying to viciously attack the judge like a psycho. Definitely assault and battery, 100%. Lots of women in America domestically face that, and it's disgusting. A man trying to attack a woman full on. It's gross. No real male says, oh yeah, that's good. Let a man attack a woman. We just don't. And if you're classical, a chick hits you, you run. You just get the flock away from her. So no one is endorsing this attack. Counts 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Are we watching the same video?
Are all battery on an officer, the same name victim. Oh, and by the way, I do not know any of the other victims named in the criminal.
Oh, and by the way, let me again state how I'm unbiased. I'm not biased at all.
Those are all felony offenses. Count 10, performance of act or neglect of duty and willful or wanton disregard of safety or persons of property resulting in substantial bodily harm or death.
What? I'm so sorry. The judge was back to work the next day. What are you talking about? She was back to work right away. What are you talking about?
Those are all felony offenses. Count 10.
Okay, listen to this word salad of a charge.
Performance of act or neglect of duty.
Performance or act or neglect.
Duty and willful or wanton disregard.
Or dutiful wanton disregard.
Regard of safety or persons
of safety or persons.
Property resulting in substantial.
Of person or property.
Bodily harm or
resulting in substantially bodily harm or death. But that's not true.
Death, a felony.
But that's not true. That's another outright lie. There was nobody substantially injured. The judge might have some PTSD, but she was not substantially injured. Just making things up as they go. We got the attempted murder charge, we got the extortion charge, and now we got this wanton charge. It's just, they're just making things up. And he's going to get a public pretender?
Battery on a protected person, count 11. That's a gross misdemeanor offense.
Who's the protected person? Is the protected person a judge?
Count 12, battery by a prisoner, a felony. Count 13.
Battery by a prisoner.
13, unlawful act related to human excrement or bodily fluid, a felony.
So did he spit in her face or something? Was he like licking her or biting her or something that we don't know about?
All allegedly occurring on January 3rd of 2024. Do you understand these charges?
Yes, I understand.
Can you afford to hire a private lawyer at this time? I'm sorry?
I'm trying to,
Can you afford to hire a private lawyer of your own expense and choosing?
no, not at this time, no.
Are you a veteran or a member of our military?
No.
I can appoint a lawyer from the public defender's office to.
There you heard it right there, my friends. I can appoint somebody. Oh, we're going against each other? We're jousting? You need a joust, you need a weapon, you need a horse. I can arrange those things for you. Oh, we're going to battle and you need ammunition? Let me get you your bullets. I mean, come on. I mean, what are we even talking about? What a joke. What an absolute joke.
Represent you.
You know, and it's so funny to represent you. Listen to this.
Expense and choosing.
No, not at this time, no.
Are you a veteran or a member of our military?
No.
I can appoint a lawyer from the public defender's office to represent you.
Oh man, so it's so funny. So you know how we all know our inner circle of work when you're around the water cooler, you get to know Lenny, you get to know Bruce, you get to know Sarah, you get to know everybody's kind of personality. You can pretty much go like, Maria is going to walk in here in like 45 seconds and start telling us how she got stuck in traffic and her kids were crying and right. And we can pretty soon we start to be able to predict the way our coworkers are going to behave. Right. And what our coworkers are good at and what our coworkers are not good at. If you work as a car salesman, for example, someone might walk on the lot and the GM may say, oh, send out Barney for that guy. Because, you know, it is what it is. We all know each other's nuances. So could you imagine when the judge just said what she said right here?
Dispense in choosing?
No, not at this time, no.
Are you a veteran or a member of our military?
No.
I can appoint a lawyer from the public defender's office to represent you.
So within the public pretender's office right now, they all sat together and they said, Tina, let's put Tina with this guy for sure. Tina will act like she's going to give the best fight she can. And then, oh, sorry, they just want this. Oh, sorry. And she's the best at it. Let's do Tina. And all the public pretenders like, yeah, let's give Tina will make sure he's buried under the jail. Yeah. And the judge is going to love that we appointed Tina to this case.
Thank you, Your Honor. And prior
Put a one in the chat if I'm right.
The case I did is, as a friend of the court, talk to Mr. Redden about his right to a Valdez humanitarian. I know that he did not have one in initial appearance court. However, he's going to be choosing to waive the prompt hearing given the circumstances that happened yesterday in district court where he's already been sentenced in his other case.
Okay, so he was sentenced?
Correct.
Okay, was he sentenced to jail or prison?
Correct.
Okay.
19 and 48.
Okay.
So he understood that and said that he's not trying to have the hearing today.
Okay, that's fine, and I'll canvass them on that. My only issue is I think what has happened is some standard bail figures have carried over since booking.
So let me jump in here. Did you hear what she said right here? I want you to hear what she says right here.
Office to represent you.
Thank you, Your Honor. And prior to Your Honor calling the case, I did, as a friend of the court,
As a friend of the court, let me tell you a story. Let me tell you a story and the reason why I am here right now and the reason you're here right now. In the year 2002, I was no-knock raided by the police. A confidential informant had told them that I was a drug dealer. They followed me to MMA practice for a week. I went to MMA practice every day. I trained. I went with my girlfriend, lived a regular life. Confidential informant told them I was a drug dealer. They no-knock raided my home. About a month later, arrested me, took me to the dungeon. I'm arrested. I'm in the dungeon. I go to court. And when you go to court, you have to be arraigned within 72 hours. That's constitutional law. So when I get to the court, the judge says, you're being charged with these 5 felonies equaling 25 years in prison. How do you plead? And I said, I don't know what I'm doing here, Your Honor. Let me get an attorney. And he goes, okay, well, I can appoint an attorney for you. And I said, no, I have some money. I'm going to hire a private attorney. And he says, okay, but you realize that you're waiving your right to a speedy trial. We're going to bring you back here again tomorrow and offer to arraign you. You have to be arraigned within 72 hours. Do you understand that? And then they say bail is set at $550,000. What'd you just say? Bail is set at $550,000. I'm sorry. Your hands start shaking. Your eyes start watering. Your voice closes up. I'm in prison. I'm not getting out of here. $550,000. Confidential informant told you I was a drug dealer. You didn't find any drugs at my house. So what happens? I have to waive my right to that speedy trial. They take me back to Twin Towers, the jail in LA County. It's called Twin Towers. It's the worst experience ever because when you go on the bus, they shackle you in groups of 4, shackle you to 3 other people, shackle you. And the whole time you're going in and out of these rooms where the judges are sentencing some people to 10 years in prison. They're coming back into the room in the holding cell where you just were to see the judge. And that guy's ready to pop somebody in the face, and he does. So you're living this. And so then the next day I go back to court again. And my girlfriend, I had written her a check for $50,000 and said, get me the best attorney you can. I go back to court the second day. They wake me up at 5 o'clock in the morning, shackle me to 3 people, shackle me in the bus, shackle me inside of a little cage inside the bus, shackle me when I get inside the courthouse. I go in front of the judge. The judge says, Mr. DeCastro, you're being charged with 5 felonies. How do you want to plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? And I say, Your Honor, my girlfriend's getting my attorney. I don't have an attorney just yet. And he says, well, then you have to waive your right to a speedy trial. I'll bring you back here again tomorrow and ask you if you want to be arraigned, guilty, not guilty, or no contest. I understand this process now. So then they shackle me, take me back. Third day, that night, second night, attorney comes. My girlfriend has given him $10,000 retainer. Attorney comes in to the visiting cell. I've been in jail for 2 days now. I got a little scruff. And the attorney walks into me and I says, hey, how you doing? And he says, how you doing? I said, well, I'm in jail. And I said, so what's the deal? And he looks at the charges and I say, tell me a little bit about your background. And he says, well, I was a cop for 20 years. I went to law school. I've been a lawyer now for 8 years. And I said, okay. And I said, so how do you see this playing out and how are you going to get me out of here? They said my bail was $550,000. And he says, you know, you're being charged with 5 felonies. You're going to have to do a little time on this one. You're fired. Get the hell out of here and don't ever come back. Give my girlfriend back that $10,000. Get the hell out of here right now. I run over to the payphone, pick it up, call my girlfriend, and I'm sobbing. Baby, you got to get me a real lawyer. You got to get me the best criminal defense lawyer you can get, or they're going to put me under the jail. I'm telling her. She calls me the next day. I go to court again. Third time. Wake me up, 5 o'clock in the morning, shackle me, put me in the bus, shackle me, lock me in cages inside of the bus, get me out of the court, shackle me. I go in front of the judge. The judge says, Mr. DeCastro, you're being charged with 5 felonies. How do you want to plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? And right then and there, a friend of the court, great big fat white guy, looked like a nice guy wearing a suit and tie. He says, Your Honor, he says, I'm a public defender here and I'm a friend of the court. He says, I've seen Mr. DeCastro come in here the last 2 mornings. This is the third. I know that process to come to jail, to come to court is really arduous. He says, Mr. DeCastro, if you'd like, I can just go ahead and arraign you right now. I can go ahead and help you get through the process of pleading guilty, not guilty, or no contest. It's no problem. I'll do it for you. There'll be no charge. The judge looks at me and says, Mr. DeCastro, if you'd like, this gentleman works here week in, week out. Do you want to just do your arraignment? Because then tomorrow you don't have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, get the shackles on, and come through the process of coming to court. And I look at the judge, I look at the public pretender, and I say, I was just no-knock raided for no reason, and I'm here with no evidence against me. I don't know you. I don't know him. No offense. I'm going to wait till I get my own attorney here. Can I just, I have some money. I fired the guy today. Let me, is it can I do this? Can I go ahead and extend it? And the judge says, yeah, you can extend it. Get back in day 4, go to court. The same thing. I tell the judge. My girlfriend calls me on the phone. I call my girlfriend on the phone that day and I say, baby, what are you doing? She says, listen to me. She said, your friend, I'm not going to say his name. She said, I called him. I begged him. Michael was his name. She said, I begged Michael to help me. He got a hold of Robert Shapiro. Robert Shapiro is going to be your lawyer. I gave him the $50,000 retainer. I said, hallelujah. I really have a real lawyer coming in. The next day 4 or day 5, I go into the judge. I get shackled. I go to the courtroom. There's no Shapiro there. There's nobody there. And I'm like, I say to the judge, Your Honor, I've hired Robert Shapiro. He's going to come in and be my attorney tomorrow. I want to waive my right. They laugh at me. The judge laughs at me. The public pretender laughs at me. All the people in the gallery laugh at me. I said I hired Robert Shapiro. They all laughed. They thought I was mental. Go back to the shackle process. That day, I get back to the jail. Robert Shapiro walks in to see me and says, he looks me up and down and he says, you look good. You don't look like a criminal. I had no idea what he meant at that time. Here's where the real crux comes in. Okay. And you better listen good. The next day when I go to court, shackle me at 5 o'clock in the morning, shackle me in the bus, lock me in the cage, shackle me into the courthouse, bring me in the court, and there's Robert Shapiro. And the judge says, Mr. DeCastro, your representation is here, Mr. Shapiro. And they treat this guy like royalty. And they say, Mr. Shapiro, how would you like your client like to plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? And Robert Shapiro says, Your Honor, before we make a plea, we need to have a bail reduction hearing. So you have a bail at $550,000. My client has no priors. And they argue back and forth. The prosecutor and Shapiro, and the judge slams his gavel down and says, come back at 2 o'clock. We'll resolve this matter at 2 o'clock. I go back to the jail. Shapiro's office is in Van Nuys. We're downtown Twin Towers. It's noon. There's no going back to his office and back in a 2 hour. No, not in Los Angeles. You can't go back to Van Nuys and go back to Twin Towers in that 2 hour time frame in traffic in Los Angeles. Can't happen. So that means I go back to the visiting room with my lawyer so I don't have to sit in a cell. And I sit down with Robert Shapiro and I say, hey, what just happened back there? He said, well, listen, if we don't have a bail reduction hearing before you make your plea of guilty, not guilty, or no contest, your bail is locked in at that rate. He said, you know how you have the old drawstrings from the olden days where they drop the door down and it'd have one of those teeth that came back and goes chung. And once it's locked in, you're not going to go anywhere. That's what happens if you make your plea before you have a bail reduction hearing. Don't you remember, though, just a moment ago, the friend of the court said to me, Mr. DeCastro, I can just go ahead and arraign you, and then this whole part will be over. And the judge said, Mr. DeCastro, he can just arraign you. He works here. I know him. They both said that to me. We go to the bail reduction hearing at 2 p.m. And the judge sits down, the prosecutor, me. Now the place is pretty much empty. It's just a few of us. And the judge looks at Shapiro and says, Mr. Shapiro, he says, listen, he says, I didn't set Mr. DeCastro's bail. He said, so that means, according to case precedent, that if the other judge set his bail, unless there's new evidence, I really cannot change his bail at all. And the prosecutor agrees, stipulates to that. And then Mr. Shapiro says, but there is new evidence, Your Honor. And the judge says, he says, go ahead. He says, well, between the 2 times that you raided Mr. DeCastro's home, but there was 32 days between those 2 times. He said, when they went there for the first warrant and they seized his property, they took it. When they came back to arrest him with the no-knock warrant, he was still in the same location. Yes. Your Honor, let me ask you a question. In the history of you being a judge, how many drug dealers get raided? They take their technology equipment, and then a month later, the cops come back and that drug dealer is living in the same domicile. Long story short, judge slammed down his gavel, got my bail reduced to $100,000. My family and my friends signed the deed of their house so that I would go back to court, and I made bail the next day, right in the nick of time, or everything would be different. So that's exactly what that court system is. When you hear that person is there to help you and they're a friend of a court, or they're working as a public defender, they're working against you. And just you remember it.
To Mr. Redden about his right to a Valdez Jimenez hearing, I know that he did not agree.
He was sentenced?
Correct.
Okay, was he sentenced to jail or prison?
Correct.
Okay.
19 and 48.
Okay.
So he understood that and said that he's not trying to have the hearing today.
Okay, that's fine, and I'll canvass them on that. My only issue is I think what has happened is some standard bail figures have carried over since booking. So by the time he sees the judge, he is entitled to a Valdez Jimenez hearing, but it is at that point that the court sets release conditions. So I'm removing the standard bail numbers that were only assessed at booking, frankly, until he sees.
They're treating him like Hannibal Lecter. Like he's a serial killer who eats people because he attacked a state agent.
The judge. And given the attempt murder charge of count 1, that is a set in court bail. So the standard bail numbers will be removed. It will be replaced with a set in court bail or release condition. He is entitled to a Valdez Jimenez hearing within 48 hours unless good cause shown. But you say, Mr. Redden, Ms. Medina tells me that without waiving a bail hearing completely, you're at least willing to waive it for now because you have some other issues you have to handle. Do you understand and agree with this?
Yes, and 19 and 48.
Okay, all right. So he'll just be on a set in court bail unless further ordered by the court. We need to set a preliminary hearing. Would you like that set for 15 days?
He's going to also waive the 15-day set and we'll do 30 days.
Okay. Sir, you have a right to a preliminary hearing within 15 days. Medina has said that she's talked to you about that and you're willing to give up that 15-day period and instead set your preliminary hearing within about 30 days. Is that okay?
Yes, that's fine.
Is this okay with the state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, does the state, yes?
After we get the date, can we approach?
Sure. Is there anything else, Ms. Mercer, you want to address?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, all right, here's a 30-day preliminary hearing date unless I see you earlier, and if you'd like to approach, you may.
February 14th at 9 a.m.
Completely different scene inside of that courtroom than we.
Right. And what is the scene? So let's examine what the scene is. Let's just take a look. We're at 6 minutes and 54 seconds. Take a look at what the scene is. Look at what the scene is. That if you attack a government agent, that they will surround you, gag you, put little orange things over your hand so that you are the Hannibal. Look at that. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a half a dozen cops surrounding him. And they, remember, like I said, when you work with people, you then call in certain people to do certain things. You don't think they called in these two? Do these two guys look like nice guys to you? Do they look like kind, gentle souls? Is that what they look like to you? No. So what is the scene? The scene is, do not attack a government agent or we'll treat you like Hannibal Lecter and give you so many charges that you can't even understand how you can be charged with a dozen charges for an assault and battery charge, which he should be charged with assault and battery. I'm all for it.
9 a.m.
Completely different scene inside of that courtroom than we saw before. Just the distance between the defendant and the judge. Let's bring in our guest standing by for this hour. First, someone with a personal connection to the Las Vegas courtroom here in studio. Crime and Justice correspondent Matt Johnson is with us. And also standing by remotely is Wendy Patrick, trial attorney and prosecutor.
If these people don't say that charging this guy with attempted murder is absolutely atrocious, then the court TV loses all credibility. Attempted murder, if we're not going to address the elephant in the room, if these people here are not going to address that this guy's being charged with attempted murder for clearly assault and battery, then in my opinion, it loses all credibility. All of it loses credibility. Listen, what you do when you talk to cops, you plead the Fifth Amendment. That's what you do. You don't get yourself involved where the court can be in charge of you. You know what I mean? Where the court can be in charge of you.
Prosecutor also weighing in. First, Matt, let me start with you. When you see everything that's unfolded in this case, what are your thoughts, having been there on the ground, a journalist in Las Vegas?
That charging this guy with attempted murder for assault and battery is absolutely crazy.
shock like everybody else. But here is why also, you and I cover courtrooms all across the country. And this particular courthouse, they have extra security. And I'm talking when I was...
What about the attempted murder charge, dude? Can we talk about the attempted murder charge? Can we talk about them charging this guy with attempted murder?
Robbery case. That was back in 2000 of security, but
look at that. Come on. Come on. That's how you dehumanize somebody. That you make them that they're the most rabid, evil creature on this earth. That look, the guy attacked her. I get it. It's assault and battery for sure. But take a look at his eyes right now. Does he look like he's scared? Does he look like he could have some mental competency issues? Maybe. And I'm not saying he gets a pat on the booty and okay, it's okay because you're mental. For me, people who are criminally insane should go somewhere to live in a box that's a humane box. Not a dungeon. But look how they're treating this guy as though he is the most evil. And I don't hear any mention of these reporters talking about him charging with attempted murder.
That you went through, including the media. So that comes to mind. And also the setting of where this courthouse is located. So this is located in...
Mary Kay doesn't look like a peach. I'm just saying. You think she hasn't sentenced some people to some hard time in prison? She already said she didn't like the taste, and this guy's not a saint, but Mary Kay doesn't look...
In the downtown Las Vegas area, that's the Fremont. You think of, the Rat Pack and all of that, the lot of crime. So video, the boundary.
Extra comes what we all saw unfold on that screen.
Rationale behind it.
Okay.
And because Julie...
Okay, I want to hear what the defense attorney here is going to say about this guy being charged with attempted murder for attacking somebody. So does that mean that if you attack somebody in the streets, it's attempted murder? Does that mean that if you get into a fist fight, it's attempted murder? Is that what that means? If you attack somebody, and I'm not saying that's good. I'm not, come on. I've been preaching nonviolence the entire time I've been on air. Since I put my face in front of the camera and talked, I have always, always, always said nonviolence. So I'm not endorsing his violence. What I'm saying is, plain as I can say it, it's not attempted murder. It can be felonious assault. It can be whatever, first degree, second degree, whatever assault. But it is not attempted murder. It is not attempted murder. It's just not. It's just not.
And Matt, we all saw it unfold. We can understand the rationale behind a charge like that. Think about any other type of case when you didn't have a judge being the victim. You would look at things like demeanor. How do you prove intent? All the different circumstances.
Yeah, he was trying to kill her. Get out of here.
Financial elements that would lead you to believe it was an intent to batter versus an intent to kill.
Intent to batter versus intent to kill. Come on. Come on. He can't kill her with his bare hands in 10 seconds when he knows everybody's going to stop it.
Talk about him being a flying felon. The force with which he leapt across that bench, the rage with which he fought with the people in the courtroom, the deputies that were trying to control him, the fact that...
So that means he's naturally, because he fights hard, he's a killer. Get out of here. Look at her eyes. The way he fought so hard. Honey, you ever been in a fight? If you've never been in a fight, men fight hard. If you ever fought another man who didn't want to lose that fight, then you have no idea what a fist fight's like. He went to attack that woman. He wanted to punch her out. That's not attempted murder. It's assault for sure. It's 10 years in prison. But it's not attempted murder. No matter how much rage or anger he had, the way he leapt does not equate to a hammer in the back of the head. That is attempted murder. Am I wrong or am I right? Attempted murder is when I take these fingernail clippers and I try to gouge them into your throat. Fingernail clipping. It is not attempted murder to try to punch somebody out. It's just not. It could be if you kill them. You could be charged with murder for randomly attacking somebody like that. But it is not attempted murder to attack somebody. It's wrong. He's going to go to prison for 10 years. Everybody understands that. But it's not attempted murder, no matter how much she bugs her eyes out and says the rage at which he attacked her. The rage. Look at that, Karen. The rage.
One deputy had to go to the hospital. All of that factors into.
One deputy had to go to the hospital. They go to the hospital for anything, honey bunny. Anything at all. They clip a nail. They got to go to the hospital.
The decision of a charge to bring. This isn't somebody that threw something at a judge, or it wasn't a push or a punch. So when you look at all of that together, and like we always say, a picture may be worth 1,000 words, but a video is priceless.
Right. And the video shows it wasn't attempted murder. I don't even see assault on the two guards who are attacking him. I see him trying to get to the judge like a psycho, but I don't see him punching the guards back. Their faces are never bloodied. So one of those guards, or whatever they are, could have hurt their hand punching him in the head.
Establishing some of those foundational elements, and the prosecution felt that it fit here.
Okay, he is punching. He did punch that guard. You see that?
Establishing some of those foundational elements, and the prosecution felt that it fit.
Oh, there he punched. So there's an assault charge right there. That's an assault charge. How come that's not attempted murder?
Here, and sure enough, that was
this guy's
charge. That was actually the charge many of us felt would be coming, given the scene that we saw unfold in that courtroom.
I'm so sorry. I am so sorry for any red-blooded American who has ever really trained fighting, who's ever really trained. I'm talking where you're hardcore and you fight another person. You know, get off the judge. Get off of her. Get off. Get off. Get off her. Get off the judge. Get off of her right now. This is so shit. Oh my God.
Priceless, and establishing some of those foundational elements, and the prosecution felt that it fit here, and
there's the first punch he throws.
And sure enough.
Ooh, look at that. That was a real vicious one.
That was the charge.
Oh, those two little rabbit punches right there. Crushing.
That was actually the charge many of us felt.
Those are like the baseball punches.
Would be coming.
Like he's throwing a baseball.
Given the scene that we saw unfold in that.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to have a good time with this, but we are watching on camera someone attack someone and then be charged with attempted murder. And then all of these clowns are trying to justify, the rage.
So no battery, no assault, none of those things that he had been previously charged and convicted with. This is a much heavier charge that he is going to be now having to face. You described that video so well. Let's listen.
And give no pushback, honey. Give no pushback. Don't say, man, attempted murder. Don't question the charges. Don't question what you're seeing. Just simply agree with it. Just simply agree with it. That's what you do. You don't question anything that you're seeing. Nothing. Don't question what they're doing, what you're seeing. Whatever they say they're going to charge him with, if it's attempted murder, then they should just go ahead and charge him with attempted murder is what they should do. They should just charge him with attempted murder. That's what they should do. That's what I think anyway. Isn't that what you think? I mean, if they say attempted murder, then they should just charge him with attempted murder. Right? I mean, isn't that the way it should go? They should just charge him, and no one, and all those professionals on there. I'm sending a video over to my laptop right now so I can show this to you guys. No, didn't even think about why he was being charged with attempted murder. Not even a consideration. He's being charged with attempted murder, and that, hey, the way he jumped at her, the way he jumped over that bench, that was definitely attempted murder. He should not have done that. So here's something interesting that I found. So I mean, we can finish this talk about this because look, I agree the guy should be charged. I agree the guy's a danger to society. I agree that we should not go to lawlessness. I agree with all those things. To charge a guy with attempted murder for being so mad that the judge is going to put him in prison, that he's going to punch her, it's just such a stretch. Going to put him in jail for the rest of his life because he attacked somebody? I mean, his record's not good, by the way. He needs to be institutionalized at some level, but he needs to get the proper mental help that he needs. This is where I'm more liberal than a lot of my conservative counterparts. I'm definitely more liberal. I have also, my favorite philosopher is John Locke. Show me the education of a man and I'll show you his character. So, I know that guy is literally below moronic. He's so dumb and so uneducated, he can't see the forest from the trees. He doesn't know why it rains. He has no idea how that happens. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's his knowledge base. He has no idea why the moon and the sun come around every 12 hours. He has no idea. And that's what I'm talking about.
The new year comes new laws that will be put in place in 2024. Fox 43's Sire Williams joins us in studio with details on a few things you should know about. Good morning, Sire.
Good morning, Alex. So from health to education to even your pets, there are several new laws that will go into effect this year. Here's a few that you should be aware of. Porch pirate felonies, as well as lower fitness requirement for police and
lower fitness requirements for police. You saw that guy punching in the courtroom.
Treatment of incarcerated women. So first one, lawmakers are cracking down on porch pirates by making it a felony here in Pennsylvania. The bill was introduced by Senator Frank Berry and approved by Governor Josh Shapiro on December 14th.
So stupid. People don't do things and go, oh man, this is a felony. The people who steal packages off your front porch don't go, oh, you know what? That's a felony though, so I can't do it. I mean, a small percentage will, but it's an opportunity crime that they can just do and get away with quickly. So it's an impulsive crime. They see the package on your porch, or they're driving around looking for packages. They see the package on that porch, impulsively, they just do it. So it's not going to change anything.
And a felony charge is applied if someone steals a package that is equal to more than $2,000. And speaking of catching those package stealing.
Okay, so this is the reason why I showed you this video. I want you to understand how low of a percentile that the physical fitness of police is going to be in Pennsylvania. This is unbelievable.
Pirates, police officers will see a change in regarding what it takes to get a badge. Starting in 2024, aspiring police officers will now have to lower fitness requirements. Aspiring police officers will now have to lower fitness requirements.
She put the word "to" in there, but will now have lower fitness requirements.
Currently, police academy applicants cannot score lower than the 30th percentile.
30th percentile. In other words, out of 100 people. Oh my God.
An evaluation.
You only have to be in the top 30%.
That includes long and short distance runs, bench presses, and sit-ups. The new law reduces these requirements so that an applicant only has to score in at least the 15th percentile.
Okay, so do you understand that? Do you get it? Like, okay, if there's 100 people, if there's 100 people, you just have to be better than the bottom 30 to become a cop, the old standard. So if there's 100 people and there's a competition, you have to be number 31 or number 32 or number 33 to get in. Now they've lowered it to where if there's 100 people, you have to be number 15 or number 16. That's how high you have to score on the physical fitness test. This is why I tell you guys, what you do when you see a pig, you invoke your Fifth Amendment right. Oh, by the way, yesterday I gave away a Fifth Amendment cop card for free for anybody who orders a trifold. And today I sent off 18 people got free Fifth Amendment cop cards today. These are just like a credit card. Just like a credit card. It's just like the trifold where you invoke your Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. The only difference is I have a non-driver version and a driver version. And it's like a credit card. It goes in your wallet. So I'm just going to keep doing it. If you guys get a trifold, go to my website and get a trifold. I'm going to give you the Fifth Amendment cop cards for free. Right? Chevy? Isn't that the best way to do it? Got to get these into circulation. I got a few thousand of these. So right now, if you guys want to get a trifold, go to my website, deletelaws.com. And when you order the trifold, put in the notes, give me a free cop card, brother. Give me a free cop card. And I will give you a free cop card. You know, it's funny telling that story about how the judge tried to rope-a-dope me with the public pretender and then finding out that I couldn't have a bail reduction hearing had I made my not guilty plea. It just was like just regurgitating the story just now, the feelings I was having, I can't even begin to describe to you. Because remember, if I had pled with that public pretender, not guilty, then my family and my friends, we can come up with 10,000 is 10% of the bail. It was 15% of the bail. So we came up with $15,000 on $100,000 bail. That was hard though. You know, we had to come up with that money. And so now if the bail had been $550,000, regardless, my family and my friends, we couldn't have come up with 15% of $550,000. Couldn't have done it. It's just like, oh, you guys are talking about the trifolds and the cop cards. You guys do me a favor, put a 1 in the chat or let me know if you got a trifold or a cop card. Let me know if you got your trifold or cop card. Let me know if you got it. Cause we're coming up on the 10th now. We did the big shipment on the 4th of January. So a lot of stuff went out on the 4th of January. Dick Sachs, 18001. Okay, I'll look that up. I will look that up. I'll look it up and I'll hit you back when I get off this live. And I will get off this live. Man, lots of people got their trifold. Lots of people got it. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. You know, it's like, so for me as someone who came on to the scene on TikTok, and I joined TikTok first in 2020 because I wanted to reach young black men who were the Terry versus Ohio decimates the black community. Just imagine how bad it decimates the black community. If the cops can run up and say, I'm suspicious of you, imagine that in a black community when there was no cameras through the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. Just imagine with the black community, how it was run roughshod over. And so then I started on TikTok and I started to get stories in from people who were telling me their story about and sending me the videos of what happened to them when I was on TikTok. And this is mostly black guys. And so then I started to realize that it doesn't really matter why the cop pulled you over. For the black guys who were sending me their videos and sending me and telling me their stories, it didn't seem to matter, you know, the reason why they got pulled over. It didn't really matter. What mattered is if they got ordered out of the car and if they got detained in the torture cuffs, because a lot of the stories these black guys on TikTok were telling me was that their wrists were getting mangled and it hurt, and they would be put in the back of a cop car because they didn't respond to the cop properly. And that was the beginning of me creating the trifold. That was before, if I said, hey, put a 1 in the chat if you have my trifold, all 3 vehicles. You got it in all 3 vehicles? So cool. Before, Milton, if I had said, put a 1 in the chat if you have my trifold in your car, it would have been like 1 or 2 people. And now when I say, put a 1 in the chat if you have a trifold in my car, half the room now puts a 1 in the chat. And the reason is it goes back to learning from those black guys on TikTok. It doesn't matter why he pulled you over. You really don't care. You don't want the ticket, but his goal is to give you a ticket, impound your car, steal your money, and take you to the dungeon. That's his goal. Now that we know what his goal is, it doesn't matter why he pulled you over. And so you want to invoke your Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. And this is iteration after iteration after iteration. It's in 2 vehicles. Yeah, it's absolutely so inspiring to see that so many of you have the trifold in your car. So what I want to do now is I want to make sure that you have that same power in your wallet with the Fifth Amendment cop card. I want to make sure that you have the same power that you use the trifold with, especially number 4 on, cop demands his ID. And this is a non-driver card. You see in the upper right-hand corner where it says non-driver. So if you get a trifold, I'm going to give you a Fifth Amendment cop card for free. That's number 4, where it says he demands ID and says he has RAS. While filming, I plead the Fifth Amendment. I identify as good citizen. No ID is required. The law is in the navy blue. Hibble versus Nevada. With reasonable articulable suspicion, citizen must state how they ID. Do not give ID without probable cause. And this is like a credit card. This goes in your wallet. If you get pulled over, you give this to your passenger and you use the trifold because you have a driver card that you can pull out if you need to. If you're driving a rental car, so you guys have seen 2 times I was pulled over, 2 times I was in a rental car. I didn't have my trifold up on my visor. Had I had my Fifth Amendment driver card, I could have followed my step-by-step tutorial that I have on this card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cop cited, start filming. I invoke my First Amendment right. First Amendment's upheld in the 2017 case of Turner versus Driver. Upholds 1A. It's your right to film police. Cop approaches and states alleged infraction or questions you. While filming, give the cop all required legal documents because you're the driver. This is a driver card. See the driver card? Give all cops legal required documents and then say, I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. Fifth Amendment's unequivocal. Cop loses qualified immunity for questioning you. So this trifold and this Fifth Amendment cop card have come out of it'll be 3 years in July. I'll have been in front of the camera. These metamorphoses and these evolutions came because of how many young black men on TikTok I talked to in the year 2020. That's how these were born, because it doesn't matter why he pulled you over. Your job is to survive this. So you plead the Fifth Amendment, you put the camera in the copper's face, and then you follow the other tutorials inside of your trifold. If the cop says get out of the car, you always film the cop's face. Right to film police. I always film the cop's face. Always. I always do. Always, always, always. There's never a time that when I'm filming, I do not film the cop's face. And here's the reason why. Here's why. They lowered fitness standards. So you better get the out of shape pig. You better get his face before he assaults you so you can go around as qualified.
Distance runs, bench presses, and sit-ups. The new law reduces these requirements so that an applicant only has to score in at least the 15th percentile for these evaluations. Now, this is an effort to combat shortages as well as vacancies of police personnel.
This is an effort to combat shortages. So we're going to bring in the most out-of-shape slobs that we can. You only have to be in the top 85 out of 100 and you can be a piggy. How absolutely insane is that? And they're justifying it because they need to hire more people. So what's the quality of person you're hiring? Someone who doesn't care to control what they put in their mouth.
in Pennsylvania. And finally, the treatment of incarcerated women, which covers a number of unique issues. It includes bans on shackling pregnant women, plus bans on
shackling pregnant women. That's how far gone we are. That's how far gone we are. That we allow the shackling of pregnant women because we could do it to blacks. It's all based on what they could do to blacks. And now they do the same thing to everybody. But we accepted it what they did to blacks because after the 13th Amendment in 1865 and after the 1954 case of Brown versus Board of Education, American society had been educated that blacks were inferior subhumans. And so the way the cops treated them in the streets was acceptable. That's the brand of violence we learned that's acceptable by cops. And that's the same brand of violence that you see today.
Solitary confinement for pregnant women, as well as a full body searches of female inmates by male guards. Now, again,
I guess they're learning in Ironton. Maybe they're learning everywhere.
As well as a full body searches of female inmates by male guards. Now,
full body searches of female inmates by male guards. Nothing bad could happen there inside of a prison.
Again, there are a number of bills that will be implemented in 2024. You can head to our website at fox43.com for a full list.
We are learning more about why a sergeant with a
demotion letter released in former deputy case. Supervisor disciplined for approving use of force, failing to report. So remember what they always say, let's call for a supervisor. You always hear that term. Let's call for a supervisor. You always hear that, right? What does it say right there, though? It says supervisor disciplined for approving use of force and failing to report. So what do you always hear? Call for a supervisor. I don't think I've ever, I may have said it before. I may have told them, I don't think I've ever, say ever in the thousands of audits that I've done, the thousands of police encounters that I've had. I don't know if I've ever not said, call your supervisor, but you'll be hard pressed to find it. And the reason why I don't tell them to call their supervisor is, when I was getting arrested, I told them call the supervisor, thinking that the supervisor was going to come down. Supervisor is getting sued right now. So just like this supervisor, but typically I don't really recommend that you call a supervisor. You're just getting a bigger pig. You're just getting a bigger pig who's going to try to justify or shade or slight or hide or manipulate the tyranny that this younger jackboot thug pig is doing to you, your friends, and your family. So I don't think there's a time you'll ever hear me say call. Maybe I've said it in my career of auditing, but I don't know. I can't remember.
The Charleston County Sheriff's Office was demoted in the weeks following an assault by a deputy caught on camera. Today, investigative reporter Blair Sable got a hold of this demotion letter, and she joins me now to tell us more about why all of this happened.
Well, sure. And this tells us that former Sergeant, now Master Deputy Timothy Carroll, did review the incident where body camera video showed a former Deputy James Carter assaulting a suspect, but approved the use of force and failed.
Are you going to show us the video, honey bunny?
To report it up the chain of command as he's supposed to do. Now, that graphic footage shows Carter repeatedly punching Rashard Duncan in the face.
Oh, we saw this. That's right. Remember this? He punches him like 50 times in the face. Boom, 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 like RoboCop.
He's following a chase.
Oh, that's. Let me do it like this real quick for you guys. They're just gonna hammer my video.
Now, that happened on October 21st.
Let me tell you what I'm witnessing. I'm witnessing a cop hold a guy down and pull his head into the guy's fist.
Reviewed department policies.
There it is. It's over. Now he's torture cuffing him, so I can show you the video again, unfortunately.
Which states clearly that supervisors monitoring a pursuit.
So the supervisor approved that use of force. Let me get you a steel frame. So he's got him on the ground like that, and then as the guy's just completely helpless, there it is. You can see it there. You see it. I can't show it obviously because YouTube will just hammer my video. There it is. He's punching him in the face as the guy's belly down. You can see it, right? I don't want to cheat you guys, but the YouTube censors, they are just brutal, and my channel's so shadow banned.
Which states clearly that supervisors monitoring a pursuit
So now the supervisors approved that use of force.
are supposed to submit all documentation through the chain of command by next duty day or as soon as practical. They're also authorized to take immediate disciplinary action if they observe egregious acts during the pursuit. Now,
they're supposed to take immediate disciplinary action if they observe egregious or unsafe acts committed by personnel involved in the pursuit. Let's laugh together. And do you know why I'm laughing? Because I just said a minute ago, if you call for a supervisor, you are calling in a bigger pig. This says the supervisors responsible for monitoring the pursuit will submit copies of all reports received, statements, dispatch, video, and audio recordings, including a supervisor's vehicle pursuit review assessment form, through their chain of command up to their captain's level by the next day. By the next day or as soon as practical. If the primary unit involved in the pursuit is in a different chain of command, the captain will then forward the pursuit package to the captain of that command. The supervisors responsible for monitoring the pursuit may take, oh, there it is. I'm sorry. I was looking for the smoking gun. Here it is right here. Here it is. This is how they didn't break policy, and they followed policy. The supervisor responsible for monitoring the pursuit may. It doesn't say shall. It says may. There it is. That's how. May take immediate disciplinary action if they observe egregious or unsafe acts committed by any personnel involved in the pursuit.
Now, according to the letter that we got today, Internal Affairs was not made aware of the incident until November 7th, 17 days after the initial incident. Now, the video...
You know how we do.
Until November 7th, 17 days after the initial...
On November 7th, 2023, the Office of Professional Standards was notified of an allegation of excessive use of force. As the direct supervisor, you reviewed the incident and approved the use of force and failed to address the incident further. During the investigation, it was determined that CCSO policy had been violated and the termination of James Hank Carter was warranted. Subsequently, Carter was criminally charged for his actions by SLED. Another thing. The pigs all want to be Army heroes and they all want to be superheroes. So they all use the acronyms and try to come up with the coolest
incident. Now,
Office of Professional Standards, OPS, everything's militarized. It's the supervisor's duty to ensure that subordinate personnel conform to agency's guidelines and demonstrate exemplary performance. Your judgment in the supervising and reviewing of the actions
had also been circulating from within the department. Carter was fired.
He looks like a real nice guy, doesn't he?
2 days later, after the video was reviewed by the sheriff, and Carroll was placed on paid administrative leave.
I'm so sorry. Okay. So just follow the logic here.
After the video was reviewed by the sheriff, and Carroll was placed on paid administrative leave. The video had also been circulating from within the department. Carter was fired.
So he's fired. He's the guy doing the punching. Okay. So we know that the action of doing the punching, the person who did it is pretty bad, right? Right? Of course, the person who did the punching is pretty bad.
2 days later, after the video was reviewed by the sheriff, and Carroll was placed on paid administrative leave, resulting with his demotion on December 1st.
So, but the guy who approved of that use of force is worse. The person who's going to be in charge may have got demoted to where, though? To what level? What rank is he now? Is he still in charge of others at any level? Is he going to be a field trainer now? Is he going to, what other little side pocket job is he going to do within the pig organization? So this pig here, who approved as the supervisor the use of force, that pig right there should be fired. fired. He's more culpable than the guy who actually did the punching, who was in the heat of the moment, chasing somebody down, got his adrenaline all pumped up because the policies to pursue, which is stupid in a digital era. But that's what they do. And so then this guy's a supervisor. He gets in trouble. He gets in trouble by being put on paid administrative leave. I'm so sorry. What? He paid administrative leave? He gets paid leave for okaying or diminishing or hiding the beatdown of a citizen? He gets paid leave for that? He approves the beatdown of a citizen and he gets paid leave for that? How is that a thing? How is that a freaking thing? How does he get paid leave as he oversaw the abuse of a citizen? So take some time off and take some money. How's that a punishment? How's that a punishment?
And Sheriff Kristen Graziano wrote to Carroll, quote, considering the seriousness of the incident, the circumstances of the event, your employment history, and the impact the incident has on the agency and this community, I find your actions warrant severe discipline. Now, he was also placed on...
Yeah. You know, you need severe discipline, okay? So I tell you what I'm going to do. Don't come to work. I'm going to send you your paycheck, but don't come to work, all right? You're going to get paid. This is severe discipline. You go home and you think about what you've done. Your check will be there Friday while you're thinking.
1 year of probation and did not appeal the demotion. But this is not a permanent change, however. And once that probationary period is over, I'm told he can reapply to be a sergeant. And
well, the devil's in the details, isn't it, folks? Listen carefully. So what happens in 1 year? He goes right back to the position he was in charge.
Year of probation and did
1 year of probation.
Not appeal the demotion.
He did not appeal the demotion. And why didn't he appeal the demotion?
But this is not a permanent change, however.
This is not a permanent change is why he didn't appeal the demotion, because it doesn't frickin' matter.
And once that probationary period is over, I'm told he can reapply.
He can reapply. And who's he applying to? To the same pigs he works with. To the same pigs who didn't see a problem with his beatdown, with him punching the guy in the face 8 times as he is unconscious. He applies back to those pigs.
To be a sergeant. And
to be a sergeant. These G.I. Joe losers.
Step out of the vehicle with your hands where we could see them.
April 2020. With guns drawn, Aurora police are pulling over a man.
I got it.
Officers are working with Denver police and the Department of Corrections to find a fugitive they know is black.
I was afraid, I was a little stressed.
But what they don't know at this moment, as they point guns at his head and body.
I was just trying to obey the orders. I didn't want to make any distinctive movements outside of what they were directing me to make. Someone else in the car.
Teddy Pittman is not the fugitive they're looking for.
I think he demonstrated exemplary control and composure in that moment.
I'm sorry.
Just a testament to he was minding his own business.
As police check out Pittman's identification.
What's your name, man?
Another officer claims there's a gun in Pittman's car.
Hey, gun's right here in a Crown Royal bag.
But court records show a gun was never found in the Crown Royal bag.
It's a lot of loose change.
Police ran Pittman's name in their computers and did not find any warrants.
It's not our target.
One of the officers then...
I mean, this is what I'm talking about. We've lost control of this organization. We have to defund it and create a new organization that has our rights in mind and that their job is to uphold our rights, not to get the bad guy. The bad guy will get caught in today's digital era. You don't have to worry about that. He'll get caught. His face is going to show up on camera somewhere.
Told an Aurora police officer,
not our guy.
He's not our guy.
Push it as far as you want or don't want.
Push it as far as you want or don't want? That's not our guy, though?
What you want.
It's not who we were after, which sucks.
For Pittman, what did suck was not only the fear of the moment, but the traffic ticket police gave him before letting him go.
I was minding my own business. I went to see a friend. I went to visit a godmother.
A citation for a suspended license and bad left turn. After Pittman filed complaints, the judge dismissed the ticket in the best interest of justice.
The police in this case essentially went nuclear on use of force.
Through his attorney, Pittman filed a lawsuit against Aurora Police, Denver Police, and the Department of...
Did you guys know that there's no qualified immunity in Colorado? Did that change what happened? You know, we're at 1 minute 44 seconds in this, so we'll come right back here. But what is this called right here?
With your hands where we could see them.
April 2020. With guns drawn, Aurora Police are pulling over a man.
I got it.
Officers are working with Denver Police and the Department of Corrections to find a fugitive they know is black.
I was afraid.
What's that called, though, when they stop you and they're suspicious that you're someone, that you're not that person? What's that called when they stop you based solely on suspicion? What is that called? Anybody? What's that called? What is that called when they draw their guns on you and they scream and they say, get out of the car, get out of the car, get out of the car? What's that called? Even though there's no probable cause. What's the name of that particular kind of stop? Starts with a T. Anybody? I'm waiting. Victor got it. Victor got it. It's called a Terry stop. That's right. So this is a Terry stop. And what state are they in? They're in Colorado. Is there qualified immunity in Colorado? No. And how is this man treated without qualified immunity in Colorado?
You know, I was a little stressed.
But what they don't know...
Look at that. What does that look like to you? Is that qualified immunity right there, or is that Terry versus Ohio? That's Terry versus Ohio right there. There's no qualified immunity in Colorado. That's a Terry stop. You could abolish qualified immunity across every state in America. You're still going to be treated like a POW. How come? Because of Terry versus Ohio. So which do you want to get rid of first? Which is the most important? It's Terry versus Ohio. This can't happen without Terry versus Ohio. The cops couldn't say, that looks like the enter that we're trying to get, because that's how they see black people. Just another enter. That's how they see them. It's a fact. It's a fact. And if you're a copper on the force and you say that you don't just see them as just another enter, well, you're working with the cops who do see them as just another enter. Just another enter that we're going to pull our guns out, treat so despicably inhumanely, and then say, hey, hope you understand, we were looking for somebody. But regardless of the racist policing in America, what's that called right there? What is that called? That's called a Terry stop. That's called a Terry stop. The reason why his car door is open and he's outside of that car door is because of, like Basil said, Pennsylvania versus Mims. You have to get out of the car in the name of officer safety. That car door is open. How come you got to get out of the car? Pennsylvania versus Mims. What's the jurisprudence? How is Pennsylvania versus Mims possible? Terry versus Ohio. But there's qualified immunity in Colorado, so this shouldn't be happening, right? There is no qualified immunity. And without qualified immunity, things are going to be a lot better, right? Are we seeing the same video? That's what I'm talking about.
At this moment, as they point guns at his head and body.
I was just trying to obey the orders. You know, I didn't want to make any distinctive movements outside of what they were directing me to make.
No one else in the car.
Teddy Pittman is not the fugitive.
Look at this. Just let me just show you something, okay? And this is how badly this guy wants to be a G.I. Joe loser.
What they were directing me to make.
No one else in the...
Do you see this guy? Do you see him playing like he's in some sort of secret agent movie that he watched growing up as a kid? Is he walking backwards with his gun and pretending like he's in some sort of super scene from James Bond?
The car.
Teddy Pittman is not the fugitive.
Why is he walking backwards? Why is this pig walking backwards?
fugitive they're looking for.
I think he
Doing military maneuvers because the guy's laying on the just so stupid. We've allowed them to militarize police where you get douchebags like this guy.
Someone else in the car. Teddy Pittman is not the fugitive they're looking for.
Look at him doing his crossover step. He's just a douchebag, dude.
I think he demonstrated exemplary control and
You have to get like that because why? Terry versus Ohio.
composure in that moment. Just a testament to he was minding his own business.
As police check out Pittman's identification,
What's your name, man?
another officer claims there's a gun in Pittman's car.
Hey, gun's right here in the Crown Royal bag.
But court records show a gun was never found in the Crown Royal bag.
It's a lot of loose change.
Police ran Pittman's name in their computers and did not find any warrants.
It's not our target.
One of the officers
So this happens in America every single day. They get a warrant for somebody and they get the wrong house or the wrong. For you black guys, you all look the same anyway. So they just go after all y'all. To them, you all look exactly the same. Got black skin? Get him. I wish this wasn't true. I wish I was just talking shit. But look, he says he's not our target.
officers then told an Aurora police officer,
It's not our guy.
he's not our guy.
Push it as far as you want or don't want. But
Or a police officer,
it's not our guy.
he's not our guy.
Push it as far as you want or don't want.
Push what? I'm not sure what that means. We stepped on our own dicks here, so push it hard. Arrest him. Find something in his car to charge him with. I mean, that's what that says to me. That's exactly what that says to me.
Do what you want.
It's not who we were after. Which sucks.
It's not who we were after, which sucks. Then get him off the ground and take him out of the torture cuffs and shake his hand, say you're sorry. Hey, man, I'm sorry. I effed up. If you know that, then why is the guy still on the ground in torture cuffs? Why are you still treating him like he's Jeffrey Dahmer?
Pittman, what did suck was not only the fear of the moment, but the traffic ticket police gave him before letting him go.
They gave him a ticket. They gave him a traffic ticket after they wrongfully pulled him over.
My own business. I went to see a friend. I went to visit a godmother.
I mean, can you
Business. I went to see.
take a look at that guy? What's wrong with him? Why would you just profile him? What did he do? He was just going to see his
friend. I went to visit a godmother.
So then why can't he just live his life?
Citation for a suspended license and bad left turn. After Pittman filed complaints, the judge dismissed the ticket in the best interest of justice.
The police in this case essentially.
Judge dismissed the ticket in bad left turn.
Driver.
A godmother.
A citation for a suspended license and bad left turn.
A suspended license and a bad left turn.
After Pittman filed complaints, the judge dismissed the ticket in the best interest
The tickets or ticket?
of justice.
The police in this case essentially went nuclear on use of force.
Through his attorney, Pittman filed a lawsuit.
Oh, but that's the whole thing. It's called a felony stop. It's called a felony stop. And once the felony stop, your rights gone. Whatever happens to you right now, we're on a felony stop. You're just a part of it. But we're doing a felony stop on you. And that has to change. We live in a digital era. There's no reason to do the things these pigs are doing to us. And they're doing it. If it hasn't happened to you yet, it might.
Against Aurora Police, Denver Police, and the Department of Corrections alleging excessive force and racial profiling.
It was just I think it was just an irresponsible use of force.
This stop happened in April of 2020, just a few months after the death of Elijah McClain. It was during this time period when an independent investigation found Aurora Police has a pattern and practice of racially biased policing.
But there's no qualified immunity there. The Aurora Police Department don't have qualified immunity. So they would never do this without qualified immunity, but yet they are.
And excessive force. That same year,
This video went viral.
These pigs, dude. Look at these pigs.
Showing Aurora police pointing guns at a black mother and several children after mistaking their car for stolen.
Look at these absolute pigs. Pig, 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 pig. Who cares if it was stolen? Why does everybody have to go in torture cuffs? If you got the property back, you'll get those people eventually. Take a picture of their face. They're not going to get away.
We reported this month there's a tentative settlement in that case.
Regardless of who you are, regardless of what color your skin is, you have a right to be treated with dignity, right?
Pittman says he was
No, that's not how they see it at all. They see us as
afraid for his life during the encounter.
So they're still searching him. They're still going through his pockets. They just said a second ago, remember, we saw the last clip where he said, these aren't the guys, which sucks, but yet he's still going to search the guy.
People are either, physically assaulted or,
I mean, look at that. Why do they get to pull you over and just search you? It's totally unconstitutional. It's so ridiculous that this is happening. And we're America. Everybody loves our Constitution, but we're not living in a constitutional America at all. Why does this pig get to pull you over for no reason and then search you?
Fatally shot.
They weren't even looking for this guy. These cops are looking for someone else. They've all acknowledged on camera that they were no longer looking for this guy. Why is his hand in his pocket?
Aurora Police, Denver Police, and the Department of Corrections would not comment for this story.
Of course not. Of course not.
Three agencies cited the pending litigation.
Of course, the pending litigation is the way they get to get out of it.
A video posted on social media of an arrest in the gas lamp.
Look at that. I showed this to you guys, and this is the update on this video. My God. Like, we are talking about, like, go through my website, bro. Go through my website. Go to deletelaws.com, contact, and send me a WordPress. I myself or my cousin reads every single email we get, and we get hundreds of emails every day. So if I miss a day and CC doesn't do it, I'm really behind. So so we showed this. I just wanted to get to Avalanche. If you, it's discouraging, isn't it? It's like, and how did they get the cameras? How did we allow this to happen? How did we allow them to get the camera system? We put cameras on pigs to hold the pigs accountable, and now we've completely lost the cameras to the pigs through legislation. We've lost it, and we have to get it back. We have to get it back. Victor, thanks. Yeah, make sure you guys get the, during this live stream, if you get a trifold, I'm going to give you a Fifth Amendment cop card for free. If you haven't seen my streams before and you don't know how to use the trifold and the cop cards, just go back into them. But I covered this story already, and I wanted to cover the follow-up.
Lamp on New Year's Eve has some questioning.
Look at that. As one cop holds him down
on social media.
As this cop holds him down with the two hands on the back of his head, the other cop is going to punch him in the face. Is he torture cuffed as well? Is he in torture cuffs?
Arrest in the gas lamp on New Year's Eve has some questioning San Diego police officers' use of force tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Wale Aliu. Kimberly Hunt is off tonight. ABC 10 News reporter Natalie Chuck spoke to a former sheriff's captain today who says he sees nothing wrong with the way it was handled.
He sees nothing wrong with the way it was handled.
An arrest in the Gaslamp Quarter on New Year's Eve drew a crowd of people and cell phones, capturing part of it unfold. He's down! He's down! In the video, you can see a group of officers try to detain a man.
Look at that. He's in push-up position, like he's doing tricep push-ups. His knees are off the ground.
He's down! In the video, you can see a group of officers try to...
You see that? You see him jump his feet out right there? Did you see it? and he puts all the weight on the guy's head. Watch carefully. See, watch his feet. Watch him spread his feet out so that he can get the maximum amount of weight on the back of the man's head and push it into the concrete. See that? Spread his feet. Pointed his arms straight down. His arms are 90 degrees, putting all of his weight, all 200 pounds, straight down on the man's skull. I mean, that alone. And he's in torture cuffs. They already got him in torture cuffs. Oh, he's got the cuffs out now, so he's not in torture cuffs yet. That dude has all of his weight on the guy's head. Look, his feet are still way back. Wow. Wow. And look, he's still on his toes. See his heels are off the ground here. See the bottom of the picture? His heels are off the ground. Pushing his weight into the man's head. And you wonder how people die under cops? Another shot to the head as this 200-pound dude has his. And then this guy's got his gun out or whatever that is. I want to see what these pigs are doing. They keep on blocking the camera. They keep on moving around to get in the way of the camera. And look at how they have 3 people on top of this person. Wow. Just crazy. Just absolutely insane.
Necessary for the events leading up to the arrest and was edited when officers tried to detain a man. Once he is on the ground, it appears several officers worked to get him in handcuffs. The video does
Work to get him in handcuffs. There's your state-run media. You can see his legs sprawled back and him putting both of his hands on the back of a guy's head. This is how you detain somebody? That's not how I would detain somebody. That's ridiculous.
not show the events leading up to the arrest and was edited when posted and shared with us.
So she makes an excuse as to what we're seeing. Listen to what the state-run media reporter says. This is state-run media, 100%. ABC, you suck. You're the state-run media. Listen to what she says. She justifies everything the pigs are doing.
He is on the ground. It appears several officers work to get him in handcuffs.
Several officers work to get him in handcuffs. Maybe putting people on their belly and putting their hands behind their back isn't such a good idea. Maybe that should change.
The video does not show the events leading up to the arrest.
The videos don't show the events leading up to the arrest. That's why these officers are justified in doing this.
And was edited when posted and
it was edited when it was posted.
Shared with us.
It was edited when it was posted and shared with us. Didn't see what happened first, and it was edited after that. So, you know, them holding him down like that, putting their hands on the back of his head and punching him in the head, perfectly justified. You don't know what happened before this.
We've learned parts of it because of nudity.
This really appears to be what I would call necessary force.
This guy's such a clown. Look at his pig cars in the back. Got that blue line shoved all the way up his backside. And look at him talk. Look at this absolute clown.
Parts of it because of nudity.
This really appears to be what I would call necessary force.
Paul Capitelli is a former San Bernardino County Sheriff's Captain.
Bring on the former sheriff's captain and justify away state-run media. Justify away.
We've learned parts of it because of nudity.
This
now listen to the cop tell you that this is justified force.
Really appears to be what I would call necessary force.
Paul
Capitelli, let's give him some validation now, okay? Let's give him some credentials. Ready?
Is a former San Bernardino County Sheriff's Captain and served as Executive Director for the California Commission on Peace Officer Standards and Training.
Oh my God. Oh my God. From the way it starts to the way, from the way it starts until the way she then goes through and tries to validate him and say he's the main guy in the training. I mean, listen to this. It starts off with him going, this is justified use of force, okay? This is justified, okay? This is justified use of force. This 100% looking at this is justified use of force. And then listen to her bullshit after this.
Blurred parts of it because of nudity.
This really appears to be what I would call necessary force.
Paul Capitelli is a former San Bernardino County Sheriff's Captain and served as Executive Director for the California Commission on Peace Officer Standards and Training.
There are those times where I have been involved in cases where I have to call it like I see it, and I've had to say that officers did commit excessive force in different situations. This is not an instance there.
No, sometimes I had to say, you know, cops, they stepped over the line, but not on this one. Don't agree with what your eyes are seeing. Your eyes are deceiving you. You don't know what happened before this, and this video was heavily edited before the news, the media, the state-run media allowed you to see the clips they allowed you to see. It was edited. Just remember that.
In his opinion, officers' action.
Seeing this guy jump up on his hands, like watch this cop jump.
In different situations, this is not an instance there.
In his
watching this cop right here, watching him jump up on his hands when there's two other cops on top of him, so he can push his face into the concrete. Pretty sick.
his opinion, officers' actions were justified, including when the video shows one officer striking the man several times in the upper body and head area.
In the upper body, punched him in the neck and punched him in the face and the head.
Video shows one officer striking the man several times in the
There was a neck punch.
upper body
There was a head punch.
and head area.
There was a head punch again. There was no upper body punches that I saw.
Reverting to having to use physical force to strike a person is something that they don't want to do unless they absolutely have to.
Oh my God. Oh my God. So let me play it again.
The upper body and head area.
So the state-run media lies to us and says it was the upper body, not in the ear and in the head and in the neck.
Reverting to.
And now this cop's going to say that reverting to punching you is what they don't want to do.
Having to use physical force to strike a person is something that they don't want to do unless they absolutely have to. And in this situation, having been in that role myself many, many times, I think it was appropriate.
In a
This whole thing is a cover-up. The entire news clip is a cover-up. The whole thing is to justify the cops savagely acting like a gang and attacking that guy when he was down. It's disgusting. It's just purely disgusting. So he's justifying it. And by the way, put a 1 in the chat if cops do want to punch you. Put a 1 in the chat if cops want to punch you. Do cops want to punch you in the head? Do cops want to punch you? The cops want to punch you. Do the cops want to punch you? Cops want to punch you. Cops want to punch you. I mean, cops want to punch people. Especially female cops. They want to start the punching so that the guys can come in and back them up and they can just be on top of you punching and you can't hit back so they can tell their story later. Did you see me? I was punching him. Now, listen, here comes. So we heard the justification that, that was justified right there by the cop with the pig mustache. And now here comes the concerns over use of force in the New Year's Eve arrest. But now listen to what the state-run media is going to say here.
Statement, a spokesperson for the San Diego Police Department says officers in the gas lamp saw a man challenging uniformed security to fight. They say he resisted arrest, grabbed an officer's shirt and neck, then fell on top of the officer. According to the police department, while on the ground, the man grabbed an officer's genitals. The man was
Oh my God. Oh my God. We've covered on this channel. They always say he tried to grab my dick. It's such a freaking lie. It is such a lie. He tried to grab my dick is the reason why I can go crazy and just start punching you. It is such a lie. That is such a bullshit lie.
to the police department. While on the ground, the man grabbed an officer's genitals.
That is not true at all. We've seen this lie, just like he went for my gun. It's just such a bullshit lie. Hoodies are in stock. Get a hoodies. I got double XL, triple XL. I think I got a couple XL left. We don't stop. Hoodies are in stock. Get a hoodie before I boil over right here. I could feel my blood pressure just rise like a. We don't stop. Hoodies are in stock. Get a hoodie. XL, double XL, triple XL. There's no more large or medium. I got another batch coming in, but it's going to take another week or two before I get them. I just had to take a time out real quick right there, just real fast, so I don't boil over and my blood pressure doesn't have me have a stroke right here on camera, because that's some bullshit right there. That was some absolute, total, and pure bullshit. He grabbed my genitals. That is just such a cop lie. That is just the lying pigs. They're just lying. They're just saying things so that it justifies them losing composure and punching people out in a gang. Not punching people out where they go out and pick a fight with a man who wants to fight them. Hopefully someone in their 20s that enjoys fist fighting, and that's what they want to do. Nope, that's not what they do. They attack a guy, savagely attack him, and then say, oh, he grabbed my nuts. How many people want to grab a cop's nuts? Zero. Zero people want to grab a cop's nuts. Absolutely zero. Not a single person. Yeah, Matt, there's no mediums in stock. I'm sorry, buddy. There's no mediums in stock. There's only large. There's only extra large, double XL, and triple XL. But these are absolutely badass hoodies. These are badass hoodies. I'm super glad that I took the time to research which is the best hoodie to buy. I got the best paint. I got the best silk screener there is. So yeah. Can't remember, Todd. I can't remember the info you sent me. But I'm just listening to these lies, and I mean, put a 1 in the chat if that guy did not try to grab the cop's genitals. Put a 1 in the chat if that's not true. He did not try to grab the cop's genitals. That's not true. It's just an outright freaking lie.
Resisted arrest, grabbed an officer's shirt and neck, then fell on top of the officer.
It doesn't look like that to me.
Resisted arrest.
He resisted arrest. You mean didn't just turn around and surrender his wrist to being tortured?
Grabbed an officer's shirt and neck.
So it doesn't look like he's grabbing anybody's shirt, and it looks like they're tackling him.
Then fell. The fight. They say he resisted arrest.
Okay, so there he is. Great big huge dude.
Grabbed an officer.
Great big black guy. Typical.
Shirt.
So there's a cop behind him grabbing him. There's a cop in front of him grabbing him.
Neck.
He's not grabbing any. No cops going down underneath of him.
Then fell on top of the officer. According to
there was no cop underneath of him though. You just saw it. There's no cop underneath of him.
Grabbed an officer's shirt and neck, then fell on top of the officer.
He fell on the ground. He hit the concrete. Fell on top of an officer. No, he didn't. No, he did not. He fell on the ground.
He resisted arrest, grabbed an officer's shirt and neck, then fell on top of the officer.
He fell on the ground. There's his arm right there. So did he take the cop down with one arm? That's a lie. It's been disputed right there.
According to the police department, while on the ground, the man grabbed an officer's genitals. The man was charged with felony resisting arrest.
In this day and age, we see a lot of these videos.
So now she's still coordinating with the cop. She's still coordinating with the cop. I guarantee you this is going to be a justification to what they did to that man. She started off in this day and age.
With felony resisting arrest.
In this day and age, we see a lot of these videos circulating on the internet. What would you say to people to keep in mind before they draw conclusions about what they're seeing?
What the
You say to people to keep in mind before they
keep in mind this before you believe your eyes. We just saw there was no cop underneath of him. He fell on the ground.
they draw conclusions about what they're seeing and form their opinions.
Clearly,
Wow. What a setup. What a setup to a bullshit question. What kind of journalism is this shit? What kind of
The man was charged with felony resisting arrest.
He's charged with a felony. Remember that, a felony, because the cops went crazy and attacked him. Great big black guy, pretty normal.
In this day
and age,
we see a lot of these videos circulating on the internet.
see a lot of these videos circulating on the internet. Then why isn't your inclination to find out why are there so many cops attacking people? She's justifying how many videos we're seeing on the internet. To keep in mind that the cops are good. Cops are good people. Keep in mind, she's saying, keep in mind, in this day and age, we see a lot of these videos. We see a lot of these videos because the policies, procedures, and protocols set up for a Terry stop are brutal, inhumane, and barbaric. And as long as we have these policies, procedures, and protocols, it'll always be a system of oppression. Why are we keep in mind, we're seeing all these videos on the internet. You said it yourself. You jackboot pig sucker. You said it yourself. We're seeing a lot of these videos on the internet. What do we need to remember, though? Remember, the cops are the good guys. Remember, you don't know why the cops are beating people in the face as they're holding them down with 3 other men. Remember that. Yeah, Steve, how long did that take to get your hoodie? Yeah, these are dope, dude. These hoodies are freaking dope. I mean, I went downtown LA, searched all of LA, downtown LA, found the highest quality hoodie I could buy. It wasn't cheap. I make $20 at the most on a hoodie. That's how much money I make, just so you know. At $55, I make 20. So this hoodie is badass. It is nice. It is warm. It is thick. This is the hoodie that I wanted. This is the hoodie that I wanted to get. I don't have any medium or large. No matter what the website says, I got XL, double XL, triple XL. These hoodies are badass. I can't stand, the media is our enemy. The media is our absolute enemy. I hope you enjoy it, Steve, man. Thanks. I appreciate it. I hope I got a cop card wrapped inside of that. Some of them got cop cards wrapped in them. Some of them didn't. Listen to her bullshit ass question.
In this day and age, we see a lot of these videos circulating on the internet. What would you say to people to keep in mind before they draw conclusions about what they're seeing and form their opinions?
Clearly, I can see it.
What would you say to people to keep in mind before they form their opinions? And now let's listen to the cop explain to us what we need to keep in mind.
How sometimes the public gets up in arms because they see something that looks egregious to them.
You mean because, hold on a second,
gets up in arms because they see something that looks egregious.
Looks egregious.
Just to them.
He's got his arms behind his back.
Gets up in arms because they see something that looks.
Okay, I see his arms are behind his back. There's an arm there. There's an arm over there. There's no cop underneath of him. I don't see something that looks egregious. I see something that is egregious. It is egregious. It doesn't look egregious. This guy jumping on his toes to push a guy's head into the concrete, he should be fired. They don't teach you that at the police academy. He should be fired for doing that to the guy's face.
Egregious to them.
That looks egregious. It is egregious. It's brutal, inhumane, and barbaric. And they're all dressed up like G.I. Joe loser. And this guy's got his legs spread out.
Thing that I can say is you really have to reserve judgment until all of the facts are in.
You really have to reserve judgment until Oh, is that right? You put in some time? Oh, cool. Black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, like 100% certainty. You never need to hit any human being to restrain and apprehend them. So what Alan said here is he said, I'm a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I can say this with 100% certainty. You never need to hit any human being to restrain and apprehend them. And that is 100% the truth. Okay, then let's postpone the meeting until tonight or until tomorrow morning. I will meet you on Zoom. Let me know your availability and I will work around your time. I got a lot of court stuff going on right now. There's a lot of different moving parts. And so it's like, did you just hear these freaking outright lies?
Up in arms because they see something that looks egregious.
It doesn't, it's not, I'm not up in arms because I see something that looks egregious. I see something that is egregious, that is brutality, that is inhumane, that is barbaric. It's one thing for them to treat them so inhumanely, but it's another thing. Look how these guys are all, and this reporter. I mean, how bad is she?
Circulating on the internet. What would you say in this day?
Listen to how she frames her question. She's such a piece of shit. This chick is such a piece of shit. She dismisses all of our videos. All the videos that show the pigs abusing, pigs cheating us, pigs beating us, pigs kicking us.
Day and age, we see a lot of these videos circulating on the internet.
So in this day and age, we see a lot of these videos, a lot of cops abusing people circulating on the internet. Can you help justify all those videos that we see? I mean, I think that's pretty based. Garbage reporter. In this day and age, we see a lot of these videos circulating on the internet. What would you say to people before they judge what they're seeing? You cop sucking piece of shit. I and my people make these videos of cops abusing people. Why didn't you? Oop, I misspelled something. Why didn't you reference the man doing a push-up? Why did you say punches to the upper body when clearly why'd you lie? I think cop-sucking piece of shit's good enough one time. I think you're the enemy. I get a little excited here. You suck. There you go. There you go. Let me drop her link in the comment section. I mean, that's the cop-sucking piece of shit right there. There she is. That's the cop sucker right there. That's the cop sucker. That's the cop sucker. You heard her. You heard her. I mean, what'd she say exactly again? Let me get her words exactly. What'd she say?
A video posted on social media.
Have to reserve judgment until
their opinions.
Clearly,
what they're seeing. What would you say to people? In this day and age, we see a lot of these videos circulating on the internet. What would you say to people to keep in mind before they draw conclusions about what they're seeing?
Did you hear what she said? What would you say to people to conclude in their mind before they conclude in their mind what they're seeing? What? Natalie? What? I'm so sorry. I'm just so confused.
What would you say to people to keep in mind before they draw conclusions about what they're seeing?
What would you say to people?
What would you say to people to keep in mind?
To keep in mind
before they draw conclusions.
Before they draw conclusions
about what they're seeing.
About what they're seeing. What? Are you kidding me?
What would you say to people to keep in mind before they draw conclusions about what they're seeing?
What? What the hell is she talking about? What would you say to people to keep in mind before they draw conclusions to what they're seeing? Don't believe what you're seeing. Don't believe it. Before you draw a conclusion to what you're seeing, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Don't believe what you're explain to you what you're seeing. I'm going to explain to you what you're seeing. Don't listen to your eyes. Listen to me. Before you draw a conclusion on what you're seeing, you need to keep some things in mind. What an absolute piece of shit this woman is.
What would you say to people to keep in mind before they draw conclusions about what they're seeing?
What would you say to people to keep in mind before they draw conclusions to what they're seeing? What could you possibly say? I'm watching one cop do a push-up on a guy's head, and I'm watching another cop punch him in the head, and you, Natalie, you got a retired Captain Pig on your network, and you're saying, what could you say to kind of, let people know not to draw conclusions to what they're seeing? Don't pay attention to what you're seeing. Natalie here is going to say, we're seeing a lot of these kinds of videos. Why do you think we're seeing a lot of these kinds of videos, Natalie? Natalie, is anybody there? Natalie, how come we're seeing a lot of these kinds of videos? Natalie, why are we seeing these kinds of videos? Natalie, just curious. How come, Natalie? We're seeing these kinds of videos, Natalie, because cops are abusing people in the streets, and they may call it policy. We call it abuse. What you call policy, we call abuse. Natalie, you are absolutely the lowest of low, especially saying that the cop was punching him in the upper body. That was the neck, the ear, and the head. That's where they punched him. That's where the cop punched him.
What would you say to people to keep in mind before they draw conclusions about what they're seeing and form their opinions?
Clearly, I can see how sometimes the public gets up in arms because they see something that looks egregious to them. But
that looks egregious to them, this looks egregious to anybody who watches it. This looks like 3 guys jumping a guy while 3 guys stand outside perimeter so they can jump the guy. You said that he grabbed a cop and landed on top of him. We saw him hit the concrete. We saw his arm flat on the concrete. We saw his chest flat on the concrete. There was no cop underneath of him.
Best thing that I can say is you really have to reserve judgment until all of the facts are in.
Forget what your eyes see. These people will explain away to you why what you're seeing is not valid. It is not real. Don't worry about it. What you're seeing is completely and utterly fake. Don't worry about anything. Don't worry about it. It's all good. It's all good. Wow. Wow. I mean, I've seen a lot of reporters who are shit. None quite as shitty as Natalie. She literally set the cop up to justify, while we're seeing all these kinds of videos, why are we seeing all these kinds of videos? Well, you dunce cap. Could it be maybe, Natalie? Natalie, could it be maybe that the cops are abusing people? Could that be it, Natalie? I mean, could the cops be beating on people, Natalie? Could the cops be beating on people? Is that going to be happen, Natalie? Is that what happened, Natalie? We're seeing all these types of videos because cops are abusing us, Natalie. Didn't you know, Natalie? You didn't know that, Natalie? You didn't know cops were abusing us? We're seeing a lot of these types of videos, but what do people need to know before they cast their opinion? You set the cop up to make excuses as to why we're seeing so many videos of cops abusing people. You're a cop sucking piece of shit, pretty much. You're a cop sucker all the way. Jackboot thug pig sucker. That's you. JBTPS. JBTPS. That was you dunce cap. I mean, you absolute dunce cap. Like that's just the most pathetic thing I think I may have ever seen. Ever. Like just pathetic. I mean, really, truly. Trying to make excuses for the pig. I just can't. I mean, trying to make excuses as to why they're seeing the videos. Who's filming cops? Put a 1 in the chat if you're filming cops. Put a 1 in the chat if you see a cop and you film that cop. I could put a 1 in the chat for me all day, every day. I see a cop, I film that cop. It's really hard for me not to. So put a 1 if you're filming cops. Natalie said that we're seeing a lot of these kinds of videos because, you know, there's more to the story than you just filming the cops beating on people. There was something before that. That person made the cop mad. There was something before that. Yeah, there was. That person made that cop angry. And so he beat on them, which is, he's a cop. He's allowed to beat on you. That's what his job is to beat on people.
Oh, they already did. Hey, y'all all record this shit. If anything goes
Yeah.
we all seen this shit.
It's Mecklenburg, Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department, my buddy Alan Hubbs. Wow. I thought I recognized the Charlotte Mecklenburg Pig Patrol car. I thought I did. I mean, look how much money we allow these G.I. Joe losers And they they say they need the money for this. They really need these two stupid lights by the license plate flashing. And we allow them to spend our money on this. Fill out your tax forms accordingly. Your money is spent on wars, bombs, cops, and cages. Oh, good thing you got that in there. I agree with you, Pablo. Defund them. Got to get their money out of their hands.
Back up. Hey, you ain't got to hit me with the door, bro. You ain't got it. It's all right. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I just want to make sure. I want to see how my car is doing. Hey, well, that's on him. That's on him to keep it confidential. That's on him to keep it confidential, not me. He's in public. This is public. That's why he got in the car and left. He knew. Yeah, he knew. What? Who are you? What's your name? Badge number?
O'Brien.
What's that?
O'Brien.
O'Brien. What's that?
6070.
Hey, y'all see this guy? Y'all see this guy? Y'all see this guy?
Yeah.
This guy. Y'all better watch this guy. He's gonna be trouble.
So where did he make his mistake? Where did the auditor make his mistake?
Back up. Hey, you ain't
Back up. As soon as the cop says, hey, back up, I'm a member of the press. I invoke my First Amendment right. The moment the cop interacts with you, you invoke your First Amendment right privilege to be press. There should be no delay in it. The moment the cop walks up. So what he's doing right here is he's auditing a police stop, and he has the cop cars that are part of the police stop. He's now filming the interior of the cop car from the outside. So I got my camera. I'm filming the interior.
Hey, back up. Hey, you ain't got it.
I'm a member of the press. I invoke my First Amendment right. You back up. I'm doing my job.
Hit me with the door, bro. You ain't got it.
You can go do your job. I'm doing my job. Don't talk to me.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. That's one.
I don't care what you are. I'm doing my job. You're in your official capacity. I have every right to be here.
I'll make sure. I want to see how my car is doing. Hey.
Anything I can see in public, it's a matter of press. I can film it. Are you trying to chill my First Amendment rights right now? Are you trying to infringe on my First Amendment? Is that what you're doing? What's your name and badge number?
That's on him. That's on him to keep it confidential.
No, do you understand me? I'm involved in a First Amendment protected activity. You will shut your mouth and do your job. Don't address me again.
On him to keep it confidential, not me.
Don't point at me or I'll point at you, pig. I'm your boss. You do what I say.
He's in public. This is public. That's why he.
No, you can step back. I'm doing a First Amendment protected activity. I'm not interfering or obstructing justice in any way. Shut your mouth, pig.
Got in the car and left. He knew.
No. Do you understand me? I'm the boss here. I'm the highest ranking person on the scene. You are a public servant. Your job is to uphold my constitutional rights, not to order me around unlawfully.
He knew.
Have I made myself clear, sir?
No. Have I made myself clear? You jackboot thug pig.
Who are you? What's your name, badge number?
O'Brien.
What's that?
O'Brien.
O'Brien. What's that?
6070.
Hey, y'all see this guy? Y'all see this guy?
Good job overcoming your lisp. I'm very proud of you. I had a good friend who overcame his lisp. It takes a lot of work, O'Brien.
Y'all see this guy?
Yeah.
This guy. Y'all better watch this guy. He's gonna be trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, O'Brien, that's how you would have got treated if it was me. I would have ripped you a new asshole, bro. You don't talk to me when I'm filming cops. You don't talk to me. Jungle is Massive has been here for 3 months. What's going on, Playboy? What's up, Playboy?
What's that? Confidential. It's a public right here. That's my car. Get out of here. This guy right here. 636. Y'all see that? See that? Yeah. What? Yeah, have respect out here, man. That's the disconnect between you.
So right here, when this cop talks to you, you guys have seen what I do. When the cop engages with me in conversation, how many people are longtime Team DLZ and you've seen, I will wait like a snake in the grass, waiting 6, maybe 14 feet away, maybe 14 feet away from the stop, a little more than 10 feet, less than 20 feet, between 12 to 15 feet away. I'll position myself with my camera, won't say a word, just filming that pig, just like this. And then the cop can't help it. You can't be a pig unless you're hardwired to walk up and try to give people directives that are unlawful. I'll wait 12 feet away. And then as soon as the cop comes up and gives me a directive, I have a right to be here. I'm a First Amendment press activity. And now I'm going to just lambaste that pig. Just going to smack him down with my words. Why? Because he takes so many of you and me to jail without even thinking twice about it. He doesn't mind at all. People say, Chille, you're so mean to pigs. How are they treating the rest of us? How are they put a 1 in the chat if cops are treating you like shit. Put a 1 in the chat if cops are treating you like shit. So yeah, I'm not nice to them. And I beat them up with my words.
Yeah. What? Yeah, have respect out here, man. That's the disconnect between you and the people, bruh.
The moment he comes up and says, step back, I jump him with words.
That's the disconnect. You ain't have to be like that. That's why the guy got in his car and left.
That's not true. I got a
You
lot
ain't
of
have to be
respect
like that. You ain't got no respect.
No, you don't. You don't have any respect for anybody, bro. You're quite literally a pig. You take people to a dungeon for nothing. You're a piece of shit, dude.
I got a lot of respect.
Nah, man.
No, you don't have any respect for anybody or anything. You piss all over everything. You're a parasite on society. You're the enemy of freedom. You're the enemy of liberty.
I'll see you again.
I hope so.
No, I hope so. What's that, a threat? Come on, man.
No, don't be an idiot. King douche. King douchebag.
This guy right here.
What is that guy filming him? Wait a second. Are they together? I'm so confused. I hope they're together.
This guy right here. Watch out, watch out, watch out.
Yeah, they're together.
This guy right here.
They're just such douchebags, dude. They're just such douchebags. They really are. I mean, they've lost the public. They've lost the general public. Put a 1 in the chat if these organizations have lost you.
I gotta see you on the next one.
Yeah. Exactly correct, my friend. Like these organizations have completely lost the people. They've lost us. They've lost us. We no longer trust them. Put a 1 in the chat if you no longer trust police. Put a 1 in the chat if you don't want to call cops to help you. These are just the simple facts. I mean, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So for the people who watch my channel, and Instagram's the biggest. If you really want to fight people, go to deletelaws.ig on Instagram. There's so many cops all over my page, just towing the thin blue line, saying how I'm the bad guy. I don't put anybody in shackles and drag them off to a dungeon. I don't do that to people. You do. I mean, put a 1 in the chat if cops are the enemy of liberty, if the enemy of freedom. 11111. You see, I didn't do that, coppers. I didn't do that. You can come to my channel and write all the hatred you want. The simple fact of the matter is that you guys are doing this. Your policies, procedures, and protocols that none of you can change. You're your own problem. The reason why the general population hates you pigs is because you agreed that we should throw people on their stomach. Nobody's going to their stomach when they're afraid of you. Nobody's going to their stomach. They're just not. Not an alpha male, not a sigma male. A strong man is not going to roll over on his belly like a dog in the middle of a heated confrontation. It's not how it's going to work. So it's your fault. You agreed to those policies, procedures, and protocols. You never said, hey, is there another way we could do this besides trying to get someone's wrist behind their back? You did that. You come to my channel, you saw a bunch of shit. Go to deletelaws.ig on Instagram. Go to deletelaws.ig. I mean, I can show you. I can show you. There are just thousands and thousands of comments of cops, suckers. You have no idea. I opened up my Instagram right now just to whatever I can see. You're a joke, dude. Yeah, let the government control everything, goofy. We need to revoke qualified immunity. That's funny, Rothschild. We just watched a whole video in Colorado where qualified immunity has been abolished. It didn't change the behavior of a Terry stop. You want to revoke Terry versus Ohio is what you want to do. Oh, sure it is, because it doesn't align with your narrative. That's not dumb. That's corrupt. You get in a house thinking someone dangerous is in there and manage the situation. It's just, let me find some bad ones on here. Oh yeah. I can't even put that. That's a death threat. Well, good luck, bro. Good luck on that. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know, bro. I mean, I just recently had to move. I'm not sure if you guys know that or not. I haven't really talked about it. Oh, keyboard warrior, keep flexing your toughness behind your keyboard. No, man, I'm actually a fairly tough guy. I'm just old. I'm just 49 years old. I'm a little too old to be fist fighting. Doc K said, if one has a friend in state legislator, what advice would you give that said friend? To write a bill that reasonable articulable suspicion is not the standard to be able to stop somebody. That officer safety is not paramount. You could legislate it, but the bill would get killed. They would introduce it into committee, and the other Republicans in the committee would kill the bill. Republicans are the biggest cop suckers there are. It's why I've never voted for Republicans. I voted for Democrats for like 15 years, 18 years, and now I've only voted independent ever since Obama in 2009. I haven't voted for anybody but an independent since then. So you can legislate away Terry v. Ohio. It's just going to be really hard, but it can be done. It definitely can be done. If you want to fight the cops, go to my Instagram, deletelaws.ig. There are so many and people want to fight each other in the comment section. It's so crazy to see this because I didn't know that, I didn't really. So my accounts were deleted in the end of 2021. My TikTok accounts, my Instagram account, my Facebook account, all my accounts got hacked and got taken down, or they were deleted by TikTok. So I didn't work on Instagram. I had like 30,000 subscribers in 2021. And remember, these are just people who I met in Hollywood over my Hollywood career, over people I met when I was in sales, people I met when I was working as a producer or a writer. And so I lost thousands of contacts when my Instagram was hacked. And I only had 30,000 subscribers or something like that on Instagram. But, 10,000 of those were people who I had met through my Hollywood journey. Because you end up on a set shooting something with a seal, and there's a water park show, and you're like, how did I get here? But you're getting paid $5.50, so you just go do this. And then you meet everybody on that set where they're shooting the walrus with the water park show. And so you meet the producer, the writer, the director, you meet the other talent, and you follow their Instagram. When my Instagram got deleted in 2021, I lost all those contacts. It was devastating. So I didn't put any work to Instagram. Again, I was just completely and utterly devastated. And then this past couple weeks, I've actually just posting on Instagram, and organically I've grown 11,200 subscribers on DeleteLaws on Instagram. So go over there, and and remember, this thing is just packed full of cops and cop suckers. So many. I would appreciate the support, actually, because I don't like having to fight them all by myself, and I just can't stand them. I just cannot stand this jackboot thug pig system that we have created here. Oh, what's going on? How you doing? Thanks, man. Thanks, Kieran. Kieran Tibbetts, what's going on, my friend? Thank you for the super chat. I missed a super chat earlier. Someone put a super chat on here, but I was in the middle of a spiel going a million miles an hour. Thanks, Kieran. I appreciate the super chat, man. Thanks a lot. I really do appreciate it. You know, my channel is so shadow banned that you have to come here. Oh, you got your cop cards today? Yes. Yes. And if anybody got a damaged cop card, because we put tape on a few cop cards and a few got damaged, I'll replace those for you. If you have a damaged cop card, just send me a picture of it and I will replace your cop card for you. I put tape on some of them when I was beginning. So stoked, amazing 3DG. And yeah, just so you guys know, I'm including a cop card with any trifold. I sell them for $10. If you want to buy them, cool. Thanks. Appreciate that. But you don't have to. You buy a trifold for $20, I give you a cop card for free. In with your envelope, because I want these in circulation. I want these in circulation. And if you know how to use this cop card, man, it is absolute gold. It is absolute gold. Hey, Dick, did you say that you had an order number for me? Dick, what was your order number? I just want to look that up. Just, I don't want anybody to miss their trifold or their cop card from me. And so just so you guys know, in the past couple of months, I shipped 1,000 shippings over Christmas, November, over Thanksgiving, beginning of January and Christmas. We did over 1,000 shippings. So if you do 1,000 shippings, you're going to lose 10. The post office is going to lose 10. You're going to mess up on 10, 0.1%. You're going to mess up on. It's just going to happen. And so a few people, I mailed out everything. Everything is now mailed out. And the last person missing something, I was in touch with her. Sorry about that. That was really strange. I have a. Oh, really? Is that what happened? So Derek said you peeled off the tape on his First Amendment card very slowly and there was 0% damage. Yeah, I didn't know that the tape. And by the way, the tape won't actually, it'll just discolor your card, but it won't, the letters are all the way through. So it's not like the lettering on that. It's not just topography. So if you put tape on here and you take the tape off, you may peel off the yellow, the blue, the black, but the letters will stay right there. I've seen it. I've had like 6 or 8 damaged cards that I've replaced for people, and the letters don't come off. It is discolored though from the tape, which I don't want you to have a discolored card. So if you need me to replace that card for you, just let me know and I'll replace that thing if it's damaged. Just send me a pickup. Yeah, Basil, I sent off all of the everything's shipped. Everything is shipped. Things. What? Holy shit. Holy shit, that's a lot. Holy shit. Amazing 3DG just gave out 50 memberships. So if you guys want a membership right now, ask Amazing 3DG. I don't really know how that works, but there's 50 memberships coming up. Thanks, 3D. Appreciate that, man. That's really cool. That's really cool. That's really cool, man. You allow people to be a part of it, if they don't have the $5 to join the memberships. Thank you, dude. I really appreciate that. Mark said, pick me. Chris, I'll show you the people who are in here all the time. This guy's 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 in here all the time. This lady is here all the time. This guy's here all the time. Wow, Chevy. Chevy laid it out. Thanks, Chevy. Appreciate you, man. Chevy's here all the time. This guy's been here a lot. This guy's here all the time. I can just show you that there's people here who are here all the time. The Mills is here all the time. Houston Hot Dog is here all the time. Jungle is Massive is here all the time. Javro is here all the time. April's here all the time. Crazy. Yeah. So, it's kind of cool because just so you guys know, that story I told earlier about going through the process of being arraigned and how the judge and the public pretender were actually silently colluding against me to make a plea so that my bail would be stuck at $550,000. When I was telling that story earlier, it really was rocking me. I had a lump in my throat for half of this rendition. I had a lump in my throat for maybe 30, 40 minutes after I told that story, because I just wanted to cry, listening to that story. And, I hadn't, yeah, Todd, I shipped out a bunch of stuff to you, a whole bunch of stuff. Today's the day is people are finally getting their stuff. Steve got his hoodie today. It's 2 weeks across the country, and it just is. It really is. Some people are getting their stuff in a week, but it's pretty much 2 weeks across the country. A lot of places. And I wish it wasn't true, but it definitely is. It's happening. Because Todd, I packed your envelope myself. I put it in there and I stuck it in the mail myself. I'll go by my P.O. box and see. But, I had to move my studio because I was doxxed. So I had to move. And so that was just, it took a lot out of me, and having to reset up everything and get a place that would be okay and organize everything was just a lot. But after getting doxxed, it was just, it's just, I had to make a move here. I had to make a move. Sal Salar, what is going on? Chris Anderson said, Chevy, you're the greatest. What is going on? Wyatt, did you, I shipped off your poster maybe 3 days ago. Did you get the email I sent you about your tracking number? Just want to make sure that you got that poster, because that poster's V Boyer. Yeah, V Boyer. Good to see you, V Boyer. Yeah, I had to move again. So V Boyer knows when I had to move first time and I moved second time. Now this is the third move to get the studio set up. So yeah, third move. V Boyer got her sweatshirt and her t-shirt. I saw those on you. Looked really good on you. Chille is in hiding. No, I'm not in hiding. I don't want to be stalked, and it's just weird to me. Like people like doxing your address. Like it's just so strange to me. I can't really get my head around it. Like why would you want to dox my address? Why would you want to? I don't understand that. It's just a strange thing to me. Oh, JT Soup. I'll show you, my friend. I'll put it was amazing 3DG gifted you a membership, my friend. That's who did it. Kevin, good to see you. Kevin, did you get all your stuff? I sent you off a couple packages, Kevin. I wasn't sure if you did or not. Good to see you, V Boyer. Good to see you. Nice to see you. Okay, you got all your stuff? So Sal, you got all your stuff? I just want to make sure. Wyatt, I will look up. I sent you one. I think you got 2 posters, Wyatt. I think you ordered one last month that we shipped. If you didn't ship that, I need to check the tracking number, because all posters and hoodies come with a tracking number. So, but I sent you the tracking number. Yeah, Todd, your hoodies I packed myself, put in an envelope myself, and mailed myself. So, 100%. I have a tracking number for that, Todd, if we need to look it up. But yeah, I have it 100%. I can't believe how long the post office is taking. I can't believe it's really taken a long time. It really is. And I wish it was just, I mean, I've said I had a shipping error where we dropped like 100 orders in October, November, between the October and November, little cutoff right there. And so, yeah, we had problems internally. But then when I took over the shipping now, I've been shipping now since the beginning of December, a week into December, since I took over the shipping around the 4th or the 7th of December. And since then, yeah, Kevin, you got that tracking number. I shipped that out to you. It's just taken so long. The shipping is taking so long. But I'll tell you what, like Steve said, once you get the hoodie though, it is absolutely dope. It is absolutely the dopest hoodie. And I'm glad I took the time to do it. I'm so glad I took the time to get it done. It took a long time, but I did it. I know, Wyatt. I know, buddy. Well, I just wonder. I'm gonna check your orders. I'm gonna check your order history. All right, listen. It's 3:00, 3:12. I've been on for just 2.5 hours. Should we stay? Stick around. Marcus said, "Good evening, Chille. Would you overturn the Dred Scott decision?" So, the Dred Scott decision was overturned with the 1954 case of Brown versus Board of Education. So, Dred Scott versus Sanford was in 1857. It was called the Dred Scott case. The Dred Scott case is what made legal racial. Oh, I'm so sorry. No. Yeah. The Dred Scott. No, I'm thinking of Plessy versus Ferguson. The Dred Scott case did happen in 1857. Okay. I'm just confusing my Supreme Court cases. It can happen. I did the same thing with Martin versus Hunters-Lacey and Johnson versus McIntosh. And oh, the trolls had such a good time. I gave the case law for Johnson versus McIntosh for Martin versus Hunters-Lacey. And the troll saw me do that. And boy, they had a field day. So I was doing the same thing just now with Plessy versus Ferguson and the Dred Scott decision. So Dred Scott happened in 1857, and that case was based on whether or not black people are property. And Dred Scott was the slave in that ordeal. And the Supreme Court said, the people who were unelected monarchs, they said that Dred Scott was property. And so that started the Civil War. John Brown then went into Bleeding Kansas and killed 5 slave families. And then he would attack Harper's Ferry and literally attack the Southern Army, attack General Lee's army, which was a suicide mission. John Brown, from the Dred Scott decision, he lost his mind and it really literally lost his mind. He was already a little cuckoo because he killed people. John Brown was a serial killer in reality. And so John Brown, when the Dred Scott decision came down, he lost his mind. So he then tried to recruit William O. Douglas. So William O. Douglas was John Brown's best friend. If you've heard of William O. Douglas, the black icon through history, well, William O. Douglas would give the eulogy at John Brown's funeral after he's killed in Harper's Ferry, after he's hung. But when the Dred Scott decision came down, there's so many different stories that you can read about with John Brown and how he lost his mind. And he then went on this blood mission that he believed that he could go into Harper's Ferry and that along the way, he would be able to recruit slaves. And then the slaves would then join his team, pick up the arms of the killed slave owners, and then he would slowly build an army as he went through and then take down in Harper's Ferry. It didn't work at all. He went in and killed some slave owners, but the black slaves did not join him at all. And then when he attacked Harper's Ferry, General Lee flanked him from 3 sides, killed 2 of his sons, and then eventually he would be hung. And so, it was an absolute insane mission, especially considering that every single thing that we do is a learned response. I teach people all the time. Okay, take your phone out. Cool. Unlock your phone. Good. Put your code in, whatever it is. Okay, cool. Now turn on your camera. Is your camera running? Video? Okay, cool. Camera's running. Now my camera's running. If you don't practice doing that, then you won't do it when the time comes. If you don't say, okay, I see a cop. Cool. Pull my phone out, do my code, hit my camera, boom, ready to record. You have to practice doing that. So John Brown's idea that he would be able to attack Harper's Ferry and he would just have black slaves pick up the arms of the dead slave owners and join them in their fight was completely false. As a matter of fact, blacks today in America would not even be free if it wasn't for World War I. Without World War I, we wouldn't have the same black community, black culture, and black freedom that we have in the United States of America today. So World War I is going to be fought from 1914 to 1918. That's the time frame, 1914, 1915, 1918. And so what happens in World War I is blacks are drafted or they sign up to go to World War I. And when they go over to World War I, they then work under English military, because the black soldiers who went over for World War I, they often weren't even led by American captains, colonels, lieutenants. They were often led by British or French lieutenants, captains, and colonels in the military. So what happens is blacks go over to World War I for 4 years, and they come back and they're veterans now. They've put in years in war, a lot of them, the blacks coming back. And so now you have these hundreds of thousands of black people coming back after World War I is over. And what have they learned? For the first time ever in the history of this country, blacks have been taught how to fight. Before World War I, blacks didn't know how to fight. You have to be taught. You have to be taught to pull your phone out and practice pulling your phone out to film police. The same thing with blacks. And we know that what I'm saying is true because it was called the Red Summer of 1919. What's the Red Summer of 1919? After those blacks came back from World War I, where they were respected by French colonels, where they were respected by English lieutenants, where they were respected by French generals. They got respect for the amount of effort they put into the fight in World War I. So when they came back to the United States in 1919, it was called the Red Summer of 1919. The Red Summer meaning that hundreds of black men across America were either lynched or killed because they had learned how to fight in World War I, and that is going to be the catalyst for the push for freedom from 1919 until 1954. Brown versus Board of Education, legal racial segregation. So now the sons and daughters of veterans of World War I and the sons and daughters of veterans of World War II are now faced with this new prospect that segregation has been ended. And since they learned, you're going to have World War I veterans from 1941 to 1945. Brown versus Board of Education is going to happen in 1954. So you're going to have black soldiers come back from the war in 1945. And how old are they now? 23, 24, 25, 26. They come back 1954, Brown versus Board of Education. Now you have 2 generations of black people who have learned how to fight in wars. And that's going to be the catalyst for freedom when blacks learn how to fight in World War I and then fight for freedom from 1919 until 1954. And then again, when they get back from World War II, 1945, blacks again have learned how to fight. And so they're not just going to be pushover, and they're going to fight for freedom again, going all the way up to the 1964 Civil Rights Act. And then, of course, we created a police state, prison state, death state, where the cops have absolute authoritarianism over us. And we live in this is absolute despotism. And the reason it is because of all the laws they created as blacks became free from 1919 until 2023. And we're living in a police state. The police state was only intended for blacks. The policies that the Supreme Court have instituted over the past 100 years, the police use of force, the Terry stop detention, get out of your car if you're the driver, get out of the car if you're the passenger, all of those policies were created and they were only supposed to be applied to blacks. And that's the state that we're living in today, is a state that was supposed to be a police state for blacks. Don't tell anybody. Just like the 1911 Sullivan Bill, the 1911 Sullivan Act out of New York, only black people were supposed to have their guns stripped. White people were not going to have their guns stripped. And this was an open secret, a societal open secret. Just like you'll see black people will come in to my comment section when I lambaste a pig on camera, and the black guy will say, try that if you were black, there's 2 Americas. Yeah. In 1911, when they created what would soon become the permit for handguns, that's how we got permits for guns, is from the 1911 Sullivan Act. So when that happens, blacks would say, oh, you can get a gun permit because you're white. because blacks were not allowed to get gun permits. And whites talked about it out loud right there during the time period. So this is all I'm saying. This is all I'm saying. I'm just all I'm doing is explaining what I've learned. I'm pretty conservative. My gun's right here. I got my dog. I need my baby. I'm pretty conservative though. Not everything for me is racist. And a lot of people, I think you need to work harder. But the policing system and the injustice industry was all created for blacks. All of it. All the laws that we're subjugated to, even marijuana, which marijuana, which I got into a little bit on one of my lives one time. Even marijuana, even though it was really honestly blocked for William Randolph Hearst and Lamont DuPont III to protect their pharmaceuticals and their newspapers and their industry. It was passed in the name of racism that blacks would have it and they would rape girls, and Mexicans would take it and they would think they're as good as white people. And so that's what pushed through the 1937 Marijuana Tax Act. The guise of racism was to hide it, but it was really for big business. It was really for big business. Leon's a new member. Leon, thanks for coming. You missed it, man. Just a minute ago. Awesome. 3G bought 50 memberships and handed them out to a bunch of people. So super, super stoked. Yeah, it was. So the bigotry for cannabis was they used racism to criminalize cannabis. But the truth is they criminalized cannabis to make sure that hemp for wood, for energy, and then number 2, pharmaceuticals, and then number 3, to protect the newspaper industry with that wood. They couldn't have the hemp growing every summer and then cutting it down. They had deals where they could cut down rainforests. So why would they want to grow hemp every month? Makes sense. Does this make sense? So yeah, while I'm live, let me just make that announcement again. I'm doing, if you guys get a trifold, I'm going to give you a cop card for free. You get the 5th Amendment cop card for free. It's just like a hotel key, like a credit card. It goes in your wallet. You only pull out the yellow and black card if a cop is in front of you. If a cop is in front of you. Please do a show on Bonus Army when our heroes were killed. I'm not really sure what you mean by that, Will. I'm a little confused by it. I don't know what you mean, but I try to look over and read some comments when I can, JT, what's going on, my friend? How you doing? Nice to see you, Mr. Soup. What is going on? What is going on? You got to be ready. You got it today? Great. Finally, Leon. So just so you know, Leon's order, I think, Leon, what was the date of your order? It was a while ago. Leon, I'm glad you got your stuff though. Super stoked. Got your 2 orders. You got your 2 orders of cop cards today? Yeah. That's what I'm stoked about. That's what I'm stoked about. Anybody else get their cop cards or their trifolds in the mail? I'm just looking at the comments here. Thank you, Mr. Banks. I appreciate that. I think they're made of a double layer of dermis. Would absolutely love to arrest you, Candace. I think the guy in the picture though might have a little issue. Yeah, it's been Dan Hanlon. That's funny. That is really funny. So good to see you guys. Truth of God. So good to see you. Got to stay ready, which reminds me, I do have to go to the gym. I reset my 2:30 meeting for 3:30, so I got to get the flock out of here. What's the big police response in Miami? What do you mean? Miami police response. Let me see. Miami police. Let me see. To a mall alien. Is that what you're talking about? Oh, you got all your stuff? Thank God, April. Thank God. Yes. So happy you got everything. So there was an alien in Florida. An alien, is that right? Okay, I'm getting the gist of it here. Alien, Florida police. Let's see what happens here.
On New Year's Day, a large police presence was caught on video surrounding a mall in Miami. Perhaps you saw this, a video posted online claiming it was due to an alien sighting in that area. So what really happened?
Look at that police
Look
presence.
at that.
That's
Yeah,
for
it is
a
a
fight.
lot.
That is ridiculous.
Come on.
Police say a group of 50 teenagers started a fight after setting off fireworks, looting. The alien, in air quotes, in the video was really just a tall person walking.
It was not. Who said that? Where'd that come from?
According to police reports.
Police
That is just so ridiculous. Look at that. What a waste of resources. What an absolute waste of resources. That is terrible. That is just terrible. Look at that. Wish I could stay forever. I got to get the flock out of here. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I'll see you guys on the next one. Later, Gators.